Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Late Night. I am Bill, and you are watching Late Night on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. And the chat has just been popping, popping, popping. Let me run through here real quick and try to catch up on it because it's just been going since pretty early. Sue Studio is in the house, and she says, "Hello, Bill." Hello back, Sue Studio. Shay Tan's Hammer says hello. And Shaitan also says that I am the only person on YouTube who says his screen name correct. And Hooked on Phonics worked for me, man. That's it, man. I'm just a phonetical guy. Adam from Radical Toys is here. Good to see you, Adam. Glad you stopped by. Mike is here from Manic Plastic Toy Shop. Good to see you. Gojitron is here, and he says, I don't have to improve my personality. I'm a freaking delight. You absolutely are. And if you haven't gone to Gojitron's channel and watched some of the absolute delights that he shows over there, you are wrong. And Pope says, Yo, Bill, what's up, Pope? Man, I hadn't seen you in a while. Good to see you around. And he tells us that his daughter has just graduated. Congratulations, Pope. We're glad to hear that. I Like Salt says, improve my personality if you can. Well, I'll do my best. I'll show the video. The work is on you, my friend. And Pope says he's a mess. Well, we're all a mess, man. We just try to make it somehow. Rolo is here, and he says, improve absolutely necessary here, and he was waiting on that. All right. And Pope says she's so beautiful, man. Lots of life ahead of her. Absolutely, man. I've got a daughter too, and I know how that goes. And moving on down the chat here, 700 straight, 300 missing. Please like and sub. It's free and worth it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, YouTube giveth and YouTube taketh away. I got up to about 705 this week, and then YouTube took all five of them away from me, and then took two more, and then I had two more come around and got me back up to 700. So it was kind of like a roller coaster ride on subs. So if you are not subbed, I hope that I earn your subscription today. If you are subbed, and please check your subscriptions because the YouTube may have unsubbed you. So look at the page and see if the subscription is active. If it is, don't worry about it. If it is not active, go ahead and click on that. And make sure that you hit a like and everything and hit the notification bell if you want to know when I'm going live. Mikey says, my dad's birthday would have been in a few weeks, but he passed away about a year ago. I'm sorry about that. Both of my parents are gone. My dad died when I wasn't 10 years old, and my mom just died about 5 years ago. So it's kind of lonely sometimes when your parents are gone. So I kind of understand that, man. I'm right there with you. Ted Darkclaw's here. Hey, Bill, I finally made it back. Yay! What's going on, Ted? And Ted runs a company called Helidope Toys, and they are an absolute delight. He and the Black Knight Aaron run that together, and I encourage you to go to Helidope Toys and check them out. If I have a wrench in the house, if you can go to Helidope Toys webpage and get the link off of that and put it in here for Ted, I would certainly appreciate that. And I Like Salt says, toys are great, and you can play with them with your grandchildren, and they don't know you're having more fun than they are. That's there you go. That I did that one with my daughter when she was little. We would play toys together, and I guess she didn't realize that I was having just as much fun as she was, but she does now because she knows I'm a toy collector, and I kind of rubbed it off on her. Gap After Dark. Hello, sir. Glad you could show up. How can I improve on perfection? Hey, if the glass is already full, there ain't no more water to pour in it. That's what I always say. I can't stop crying, Bill. Hey, man, when they're growing up like that, it can be pretty emotional, man. I kind of understand that, man. Maybe tonight's show will help alleviate some of that crying, and maybe you can start giggling a little bit with some of the stuff that I have put together. Comments also help, and together we may triumph. Yeah, we will together. I don't use that catchphrase much anymore, but it is appropriate. Pope, I hate to say this, but they always come back. Yeah, they do, and when they do, they bring more with them sometimes. But hey, you got to count your blessings. I learned that a long time ago. A good friend of mine that I worked with, I was grousing about my daughter and the things that she was up to, and he said, "Is she on drugs?" And I said, "No." I said, "Does she have a job?" And I said, "Yeah." And then he says, "You're ahead of the game, man." So absolutely. And yes, Ted, always glad to help you out, man. You and the Black Knight are good friends of mine, and I enjoy your content. Your channel is great. I can't wait to try to catch a little bit of it before I go to bed Sunday, and just having fun here, man. Uh, Bill and Ted, that is legendary right there. Can I have your autographs, please? All right, man. Yeah, talking about Bill and Ted's Great Adventure. Yeah, yeah. My personality is beyond redemption. Well, Johnny, hey, we've all got our faults, man. It's okay. And I hope you're perfectly okay, my man. I cried for 2 days straight when my daughter graduated to be a dentist. All right. And Radical Toy says he's got you subbed, Ted. All right, good deal. Okay. I have a co-host with me, so I'm going to bring him on the show. And I worked up something a little new to introduce him. So here we go.
What's up, everybody? It's Joneser, your favorite comic book guy. So let's do this! What's up, my friend?
What's going on, Joneser? How's your week been? We already talked about that in the green room, but nobody else is privy to that.
Oh, well, it's just been busy at work, fighting the machine, band practice, getting everything prepared for Mother's Day tomorrow, doing the grind.
Yeah, I too had a fighting battle with a machine all week long. We finally got it settled down to where I could actually get some production done on Friday, which was a relief because if it had kept on going, I don't know how long my sanity would have lasted. But then again, I don't have very much sanity. I teeter on the brink of that all the time. Yeah, it's just been a mess, and I'm glad to have the weekend. It is Mother's Day weekend. My wife spent the day with my daughter. She came and kidnapped my wife, and they took her out to eat, and they went to Walmart, and God knows how much money got spent there. I don't know because I can't walk in that damn place without spending $100.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Well,
just a mess.
see, when at the Jones house, if Anthony spends money, or Joneser, as you guys might know me, spends money, it dings the credit card, and then the wife gets alerted. But for whatever reason, when she spends it, that message is not received my direction for some whatever reason. I don't know why that is.
I got a feeling I know why, and I don't know, but I don't know if it's like this at your household. It's like that in my household, and most of my guy friends, it's kind of like that in their household. Who sits down and does all the bills and makes sure everything is getting paid?
That would be Mrs. Jones.
It's kind of universal. I'm not going to say that that's that way for everyone.
Right.
For most of the people I know, that's kind of the way it is. And Denise is here with us. Hey, OBS, good to see you, sweetie. And Bill, I hope you have a sledgehammer. Uh-oh.
I'd like to shout out Mr. Manic Plastic Toy Shop there. That would be our friend Michael Purvis. Am I correct?
That's correct.
I have been making several purchases from him over the last couple days. He has helped fill some holes in my vintage collection. So I thank you, sir. I will be showing off what I got from him on my channel as it comes, and plan to do an unboxing and shout out and link his business and all that. Highly recommend.
I've gotten a few purchases from him as well. As a matter of fact, I have a Road Ripper, vintage Road Ripper that I got from him at a really excellent price that is going through a restoration process right now. Michael, if you're curious, I actually got the T-handle that goes in that, and I've actually made it scoot across the floor with that the other day. It needs a good washing with some liquid soap detergent and a toothbrush. I've got to get all the old decals off of it. I've got a new set of decals on the way, and I'm going to decal it out, and it's going to look just as good or better than the Ground Ripper.
Bill, I have a Road Ripper / Orco question for you. Missing in my collection is the cord that spins Orco around the room, or the cord that rips the Road Ripper around the room, or even a dragster, which I believe I have coming, and I don't have the cord for him. Is that cord universal, or do you have to have the different sized cord for each one?
You know, I can't answer that. I would have to get my Orco out, and I've got a vintage Orco around here somewhere, and I'd have to get him out and compare them. But I have a sneaking suspicion that they probably are compatible. I think that they're all compatible.
Right, because I know eventually I'm going to track one down for each piece, but I'm just wondering, just for a guy who wants to have some fun,
Yeah,
if I
I
could
mean,
just
it's
get
just
one
you see
cord
Orco's
to
cord
get
in your Road
started.
Ripper or what have you. Yeah, that may be the case. I can't say for sure. I'd have to compare them, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I bet they are. Uh,
Yeah.
as far as tracking them down, of course, you know that people on eBay sell them at a premium price. I suggest alternatives to eBay, such as Etsy, or there's another auction house out there that's not nearly as popular as eBay, but there's a lot of people have moved over there because they don't like eBay.
Yeah.
Uh,
I,
so
I am a pursuer of Evil Bay, and I think the thing, I don't know, a lot of us, I like to go on a rant about Evil Bay, and I'm going to try not to do that. But one of the things for the good side of eBay is it does offer some protection as a buyer, and also some accountability as a seller. So, like, if I sell something on eBay, it has to be as advertised. I have to ship it as I say, and I have to be a man of my word. So it kind of forces you to be better, but you do have to pay a little bit more of a premium for things because of that.
okay. And our friend Duchess of Darkness is here. If you like scary stories, she's the lady to listen to. She reads scary stories on her channel, and if at all possible, do not watch them in the darkness alone. It will probably cause your heart to flutter. But if that's your bag, then go for it. But she is the lady, and I just gave her some power today. Just now, she is now a new wrench and moderator here in the channel. Welcome to the Weird Fantastic Family, Duchess of Darkness. I appreciate you. I apologize that you were accidentally placed upon the timeout list last week. I don't know how that happened, but there's two ways for me to interact with the chat. There is the built-in way that's here in Streamlab, and anybody that's ever been in Streamlab knows what I'm talking about. And there is a limited ability to moderate using that. You can you got these three little dots that show up in the corner, and if you click on them, it's got a put user in timeout and block user. That's the two options that you have on there. And if you're doing a lot on your computer while you're trying to stream, it causes a delay to happen in your web browser because your computer is using up too much CPU energy. And what can happen is you can accidentally click something and not know that you ever clicked it.
No.
Easy to happen. The other way that you can interact with the live chat is to actually open up a live chat window and pop it out and have it in the background. I do that as well, depending upon how much CPU I'm using. That way, I've got more options. And right now, my stream is kind of getting kind of iffy. I'm down to one bar up here, so if I freeze or something, Jones, or you know what to do. Just entertain them till I come back.
I'll do my best. The one thing I wanted to add in regard to the Duchess, watching her channel again, and I got an itching, and I reached into my book collection and pulled out all my Edgar Allan Poe collection with the poems and the short stories, and I got digging into that. And yeah, it's just
What is
that's
your
a fun.
favorite? What is your favorite Poe Edgar Allan Poe story? And I'll tell you mine.
I have a few. Probably the Telltale Heart is the one that gets me because that was the one that made me a fan. I think
Mhm.
it was in my school book, believe it or not, in 6th or 7th grade, and I just remember being so tickled that we were talking about a murder in
Mhm.
school, and I thought that's just insane to me, at that
Absolutely.
time, I think school books could be cool, and so that's the one that made me a fan. So that's obviously the one I always go to. But there are so many. I would say he's also not just in the horror or moody. I don't think he's horror. I think he's more moody. But
Mhm.
the other thing, he really got the crime detective thing going for him, and a lot of
Murders
those.
in the Rue Morgue. That's right. That's right. A lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, he was. I think I don't know if he was before Conan Doyle, but
I'm not sure either, but they may have been contemporaries. But I think he was a little before. Conan Doyle was still alive in the night in the early, like 19 up to 1930, maybe. So I mean, he
yeah.
and I think Poe died in the 1800s in a ditch.
So yeah, then Poe would have been kind of the originator of
Yeah,
that, detective
the
crime
crime,
drama
yeah,
type story, which those are
detective
some of my
story.
favorites.
Yeah, it was the Murders in the Rue Morgue was one of the first
Yeah,
detective stories. That's correct. I kind of am partial to the Fall of the House of Usher.
that's a good.
The Black Cat's kind of an eerie one, and
Okay.
of course there's the Pit and the Pendulum, and then the Raven. And the Raven was one of the first Poe poems that I ever read.
And the
Quoth the
Simpsons
Raven
do a very
nevermore.
good rendition of that in their first Halloween special. The Simpsons do the Raven, and I think that's where most people that don't know of Poe saw it
Yeah,
and don't know they saw it.
yeah. Quoth the Raven nevermore. And Adam wants to know that I pick up the Snake Man wave from the video I posted. I got two figures, right? One figure you didn't see in the video, but it was in the short that I found out what happened. I posted the short to my other channel, the one that you're not supposed to know about unless you're a Patreon. I posted the short to that by accident because I had it active on the phone. I didn't realize it, so I pulled it off of that and I put the short back up Monday. And the short was a breaking news snake man wave found in Walmart. Basically, just 15 seconds of me doing that. But there was a Duplico there, and Duplico is I think a Walmart exclusive figure. You're not going to find him anywhere else. It's one of the Masters of the Sun figures. I picked up the Duplico figure just simply because it's kind of rare and it's something that everybody was looking for and was feeling kind of a lot of FOMO about because it was an exclusive figure. And a lot of assholes over on the evil auction site that we mentioned earlier were charging premium prices for something that shouldn't have costed nearly as much. So I got it. Am I going to flip it? Well, no, I'm probably not. What the unfortunate thing about it is, I'm probably going to tear him apart and use him for something else.
I thought he might end up custom fodder.
I know. I can hear the gasps out there right now. Whoa! No, Bill, you can't do that to Duplico.
Now, let me ask you something. Do you think it's more of an outrage that if you massacred him, or is it more of an outrage if you flip him and make a little money? Which one's more wrong?
Flipping him and making more money. But now, let me put a caveat on that. Flipping him and making an exorbitant amount of money that is ridiculous is what I'm talking about. Not I'm going to charge you a little bit more than what I paid for him so I can make a little
Right.
money off of this and I can cover my expenses. That's a whole different story. I mean, we're all businessmen here. You are a businessman. Do you sell your comics for the price that you paid for them, or do you add a little bit to them to make a little bit of profit for
I,
yourself? Because
I,
we
I
got to eat,
do.
right?
I do. I have to make a profit, or I'm not a business. I'm a charity.
There
So
you go. There you go. And
um,
that's something we need to remember, folks. You know.
right. The other thing is my answer to that question: if you customize them or if you flip them, which one's more wrong? My answer might piss off the community, but I don't really care because I think this is how I feel. Is neither is right because it's your toy. You can do whatever you want with it, and it's nobody's business.
That absolutely is the bottom line. If you're not hurting me, why do I give a shit what you're doing over there?
Right.
If it's
Now,
not
don't
hurting
get me wrong.
society, if it's not hurting society, if it's not harming any individual, if it's you having fun, to give you a perfect example of this, I can remember very, very, very distinctly being, I want to say 4 or 5 years old, and I had the Fisher Price circus train. If you remember that thing,
I
it had the
do.
little animals. It had the engineer and a
Yep.
clown and a ringmaster, and it was like 4 cars, a
There's
giraffe,
one
elephant.
monkey, a giraffe, and a lion and a hippo or something
Just
like
a cute little thing, and you could hit the little thing on the and it make the toot toot the horn and all that shit. And I'm pushing it the locomotive, pulling the little cars down the floor in the living room, and my cousin, who was an asshole, came in and kicked the whole goddamn train over. So that's what I'm talking about. If somebody's over there playing and minding their own business and they're not bothering you, don't go kick the fucking train over. Leave them alone. If you
right.
don't have anything to contribute, go somewhere else and do something else.
And then one thing I wanted to add as far as flipping things or doing things like that is I'm not talking about like getting up at 5 in the morning, hitting every Walmart in your area, clearing the shelf off of toys, and then going on eBay and jacking them
Yeah,
all up.
that's a
That
butthole.
is predatory and wrong in my opinion. But if you happen to find something that's valuable, it's worth a little bit of your time to make a little money on it. I mean, I don't see the harm in doing one. But I'm not going to say I haven't done that,
Well,
but
I'll admit if I don't tear Duplico apart and I leave him on his card and he sits over here in a box for ever how long, and I see that it may be worth my while or somebody wants to buy him from
right.
me for a nominal price, I'll be more than happy to sell that at that point, and make a little money for myself and get rid of something I really didn't want in the first place. But right now, I bought him and I wanted him. Then the other figure I bought was Roboto, the mini
Mini
comic version. I don't have the regular version of Roboto. I wasn't a real big Roboto fan. I really didn't want Roboto, but I don't know. Something just struck me about the mini comic Roboto. So I went ahead and bought that and added it to the collection. I haven't opened either one of them. I might do that tomorrow. So tune in. Go ahead, Jones.
I like that the mini comic Roboto, they added the heart that the vintage one had, and then they gave them the color that the mini comic version had. So they had a balance for us old school vintage fans who are in the know about that. Whereas the modernized Origins Roboto was missing the heart but had the action feature.
Right. Well, the other figures that were there were Tongue Lashor and Snake Armor Skeletor. So I left Snake Armor Skeletor and Tongue Lashor there. I almost bought Tongue Lashor. He's kind of a cool figure, and a lot of people like the Tongue Lasher and were after him, but I left him there for whoever to find. Now, those were the only figures that were there. There weren't a lot of them. There weren't multiples.
There was zero Motu at my Walmart today. Zero. No Masterverse, no
If that,
Origins.
if that planogram has been taken down at the Walmart, it never comes back. The one at Clarksdale, the planogram's gone, and it's been gone since before all of this started happening. It was gone a long, long time ago, and they've never put it back up, so they don't get the figures there.
Yeah.
The one in Oxford, I haven't been there lately, but I think the last time I was there, I didn't see any there. So I think they took the planogram down over there. Now the one in Batesville still has it, and that goes back to there. It hasn't left Walmart entirely, but it's only available at select locations.
Right. And I've had better luck at Target anyway. you know, or online at
Well,
Big Bad Toy Store.
is it me? Is it me, Jones, or did Target do better at the distribution of the Motu Origins than Walmart did in the first place anyway?
I would say they
Honestly, they're
did
perfect.
for the most part. Wasn't perfect, but I would say they did for the most part. I would say for Masterverse, Target killed it. I almost found all of them there. I
Mhm.
have not had a problem finding that line whatsoever. In fact, Masterverse has been everything Origins should have been as far as availability at Target. You can find them not only in store but online, and they ship much better than Walmart ships. You know, I'm not going to say you're not going to get your package, you know, perfect, but it will definitely, they won't fold the card in half and stick it in a box like Walmart does, or put the sticker right on the thing where you'll rip the whole
Or put it
package
in
of
a freaking
sticker.
plastic bag.
Right. I've seen
That
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 too.
uh, the last couple figures I bought from Amazon have arrived in a plastic shipping bag with nothing in it, no bubble wrap or anything in it, just a straight bag.
Yeah, my Superpowers Flash, the bubble was busted. I showed it off in the video and
Yeah.
complained about it, but I opened them anyway, so I didn't care. You know, I am looking for one on card, that because I have those on card and open, but
That reminds me when I was perusing your channel last night to find select quotes to put into your new intro for this channel. And I watched the video of you and Lyric dressed as Batman and Robin opening up the Batman figure and complaining that it came the package the card back had a sticker on it and it was all
right.
damaged. Shit.
You know that he worked on those costumes, and even though I thought they looked kind of dumb, and the mask wasn't even going to fit my head, he literally like taped it to my face, like you know what I mean, like
Look, man, all of that adds to it. I mean, to me, I thought it was hilarious.
he worked so hard on it. I was like, I wanted to find a way to talk him out of doing it, and then I was like, you know what? All right, let's do it. I don't care.
And
You
matter of
know?
fact, well, you did right by not nixing that idea. That was an absolute hoot, man, and I loved watching that video over again.
You know, and a lot of the jokes in that were his. Like he was like, "Dad, we should go through the Batman movies and do jokes." So we did like the Michael Keaton, where I was like, "I'm Batman," and then we did the Christian Bale, where I was like, "Swear to me," you know. And we tried to have like a Batman joke for each one of the movies, and then we even ended the video with all the toys in his way. So then we could do for the new Batman movie, we did there's something in the way.
Hey,
And I'm like, that kid's clever.
he is. He is. I like Lyric, and it's a shame he doesn't come on more often. But hey, you do what you do. And while I was watching the videos, I watched the one where you tied his tooth to a Nerf missile and shot the Nerf missile out to pull his tooth when he was little. That was
Yeah.
that was fun.
Yeah, that
And
was, I think, might have been my first YouTube video.
it was before you were Joneser, probably.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He wanted to be on YouTube, and I want to say I made the channel and did that video for him. And then he was seeing me watching comic book unboxings, and he was like, "Dad, you buy these things, you should do one." And it's really all his fault.
And then our favorite comic book guy was born.
Right.
Walmart is always at least a $200 drop for me. Yeah, Walmart is predatory in my opinion. And what's sad about it is, and my wife was complaining about this the other day, there's only a select few places where you can buy certain appliances, and Walmart is one of them. And last week, okay, week before last, my TV went out in the living room, and I had to go to Walmart and buy a new big screen TV to put in there. Now, of course, I bought a 32-inch one. I'm not buying the huge thing that I can't fit in my living room bullshit. And that was a $100 and something drop. And then last Sunday, okay, after the show was over with, I was hungry, and I knew that there was leftover hamburger helper in the refrigerator, cold. So I went in there and I got me some of it and I put it in a bowl, and I just heated my coffee up in the microwave. and I put my hamburger helper in the microwave. Boop, 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 boop. Started it. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Went in the living room, and ding! I walked back in there and got it out, and it's freaking cold. What the hell? Put it back in there. Boop, 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 boop. And I sit there watching it. This time it's spinning, and you can hear the microwave going. Pull it out. The shit's called magnetron out in it. That means the microwave dead in the water. Kind of throw the son bitch away and go get another one. So we had to go to Walmart and buy another one. So yeah, and my wife was complaining. She said, "Where can we get one besides Walmart?" And I'm like, I don't know.
Target. I don't know if Home Depot
Well,
would have one.
see that's the problem. Yeah, Home Depot might, but see, there's no Home Depot here. There's a Lowe's, and then
Okay.
there's Walmart. Otherwise, I'd have to go almost all the way to Memphis, Tennessee to do that, and that's 75 miles away. Not doing
Right.
it. Not for something I can go just right over there and get. And that's where Walmart gets you. That's where they get you. It's too freaking convenient, and there's nowhere else to go.
Well, and not only that, like mine's a super Walmart, so you can get your groceries, you can toy hunt, you can get appliances, supplies, friggin' whatever you need. Like I've been preparing for like to ship comic books and things like that, and I ran out of bubble wrap. I got like 200 feet of bubble wrap for like $18. You know what I mean? So it's like I'll be shipping for a long time on that. You know, the thing was like walking out of the store with 200 feet of bubble wrap.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of moving through the chat here, not reading all of it, but I can say that Joneser looks great in that classic shirt, or the shirt that makes him so appealing tonight. I think it's the shirt. Batman. I would love to be able to have an eBay account, but Mexico is very limited. I really ask myself why. The problem with eBay accounts is that if it's anything you ever wanted, somebody on there probably has it, but it's probably going to cost you. Hello, Rolando, and it's good to see you, sir. I'm glad you joined us tonight. Susudio.
The Michael Purvis said that the chords are different.
They are. Okay. All right. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. He would know. He probably has all that stuff there in his collection for sale. I know he showed me the other day, he showed me quite a bit of bits and bobs that he's got there. If you're looking for some bits and bobs that you're missing out of any particular item that you have, get in touch with Michael. He may have that in his bits and bobs bin. Studio, I hate Mother's Day. My mom died 4 years ago on my birthday, which is 2 weeks after Mother's Day. Well, I hate to hear that, sweetie.
Yeah, that's
and Dutchess says thank you very much, and she understands that I did not mean that to happen to her. I think it kind of upset her just a little bit. Understandable. If anything like that ever happens again, please do contact me immediately on Instagram, and I will try to make it right. And of course, Rolando is going to say hello to everyone. And if I have anything to think about, I bet you money Rolando is going to start putting some links in the channel. Thank you, Rolando. And Susudio is saying hello to everyone. Moving on down. Manic Plastic Toy Shop is shouting out Wilhelm Toy and Hobby. Our friend Wilhelm over there, Will McLaughlin. Please do watch his show. He has some very interesting things going on over there. As is Largo on Largo channel. Largo has hit the ground running. I mean, running.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, his channel is going to go far. It's probably going to go far quicker than me and Jones are put together, and that's simply because he's got the time to really work on it, and he's good at it.
He is. It's a very, very polished show, and yeah, I wish him all the luck, the world too. I mean, great guy.
And moving on down, everyone said hello to each other. And moving on down, let's see here. Do you know that Poe's last book was about the German language, and it was started by saying life is too short to understand German? No joke. Oh, life is too short to start understanding German. Life's too short to understand Germans. And that includes you, Rolo, and I love you.
Johnny.
All right, Johnny Sorensen here in the house. Good to see you. Woo, Johnny Sorensen's photo lease. I'll have a week at home. I begged, let me out to celebrate another year of my miserable existence. All right. Well, I'm glad that your miserable existence is happening for another year.
Same.
I'm glad.
And many more, I hope.
I saw in the video that your Walmart had Kiss figures. Did you notice what they were? The thing about that's a closed box. Okay. So I can't open it and look inside and see what's in there. And I generally don't like to buy stuff like that blind if I don't know what I'm getting. I've got so much Kiss stuff here that's put away. I mean, one of these days you're going to see it. I've got the complete Alive set of figures that they did that came with the instruments, and each one of them had like a speaker, and they're almost like statues, but they have limited articulation. But the other thing I've got is the freaking stage. It's got the lights up there, and you can turn them on and shine them down on them, and the complete drum set for the background. And if you want to, you can set it up like Peter Chris's drum set, or you can set it up like the Fox's drum set. What was his name? I can't remember.
Eric Carr.
Eric Carr's. You can set it up like Eric Carr's drum set with the big, huge gong in the background and everything.
Right. This is going to hurt me to say because I'm such a fan of the original band, but as a drummer, Eric Carr was just such a better fit because he was more of a rock drummer. Peter Chris, a little more of a jazz swing band style drummer. So it was a different style of drumming, but all the better songs.
Okay. All right. I like Peter Chris. Beth is a beautiful song. And if you want to see what kind of music he was really into, look at his solo album that he did when he did the 4 solo albums, which is, I don't understand that. But anyway, he wasn't that great of a drummer. He wasn't a very good technical drummer.
Well, he was good. It just wasn't good for that style of music. It would have been, if he was in like a swing band or a jazz band, he'd have killed it. But like he jumped into Kiss, which fits more for a rock drummer, and that was not his style.
Yeah, and you're right. Eric Carr was a much better technical drummer and a much better rock drummer. It's a shame that he died as early as he did. Very, very, very too quickly. Moving on down. What is C Studio saying here? There's no right and wrong. What you do with your figures, you have. That's right. This shows how far behind we are in the chat there, Jones. I'm moving on down. I'm going to start really cherry picking here. Gojitron says, I'm wondering if the new tax reporting law regarding eBay sales are cutting down on scalping. Uncle Sam wants his cut.
I think he's right.
I don't know. It could be. It could be because you don't want to make too much money because Uncle Sam gets even more of a chunk of it when you do. It's not Evil Bay, but it's the evil sellers on the eBay. Yeah. Well, that goes back to don't hate the game, don't hate the player, hate the game, right?
Right.
I need new figures, man. Yeah. You got to have new figures, and to get new figures, you got to have the money. And to get the money, you got to flip something.
Right.
My plan is to melt down the toy collection into a giant death beast man coffin from Voltron. Lord, Johnny. I'm going to have to get you back on the show, Johnny, because Johnny is he's quick-witted. I'm not as deft on my feet as Johnny Sorensen is. So Johnny, are you coming back as a robo beast? Let's see. My shoeless cousin, worth of the sack over his shoulder, does better at distribution than Walmart. I believe that. I agree. Target had a better stock for the Masterverse figures. Are you excited? Keaton is coming back as Batman. Yes, we are excited about that.
Yes.
It's probably the only reason I would go see that sorry Ezra Miller movie.
You know, I was going to tell you a secret. Ezra Miller kidnapped people.
Yeah. This guy's a piece of work. If you look at the thing,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him as a human being, but there's a lot of people in pop culture or in rock and roll or whatever that I don't like them as people, but I love their art that they make. So,
that's compartmentalization, and men are more capable of doing that than women are. But yes, you can enjoy someone's work that they've done,
right,
and even though they're a deplorable human being, and that you would never have anything to do with them personally,
right,
but you can watch their work. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is a piece of shit in my opinion, a child molester, and he's done some deplorable things, and it's all documented. Okay, I'm not just saying that. However,
right,
I can still listen to his freaking music.
right.
Thriller,
Yeah,
all
no,
that shit.
Thriller might be one of the greatest pop albums of all time. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And definitely one of the greatest music videos MTV ever made.
Oh, Adam. Okay, look at this shit. Have either of you ever did a toy inventory count before? Any tips on a good structure? Ha ha ha, my friend. I don't even know what I fucking have here. I can go through a freaking box and I can go, God damn, I've got that. I didn't even remember getting that. Fuck.
I was just about to say that inventory. I think I just stumble upon things and forget about when I bought them. You know what I found the other day? You remember when
What?
they had those little mini He-Man things? They're like
Yeah.
little snake mountains and little castle Grayskulls.
Yeah.
Like
I got a couple
2
of those.
freaking years ago, I think I bought all of those, and I still haven't opened them.
And 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 and, and that brings me up to another point. That there are things that we don't have any business buying that we buy. If you're not going to play with it, and you're not going to open it, and you're not going to put it on display, and you're going to put it in a box and forget you even have it, why did you fucking buy it in the first place? Are you an idiot? Yes.
Yes, and irresponsible with my money.
Yes. Very.
There's been a
Very.
few times too I've stumbled upon a comic book box and forgot or where I got it or how I got it or what it is or where it came from, and I don't even know if I know what's in here.
Susudio is giving me places to go buy things: Lowe's, Home Depot, and Best Buy. Well, Home Depot is out of the question, and so is Best Buy. Lowe's is the only opportunity that I have because there's one in Batesville. And Best Buy, good luck, Jack. You go to Best Buy, you may or may not find an employee in there and Best Buy is fixing to go out of business.
I agree with that. You know, there was a time that was one of the first places I would go, and now it's one of the last.
And they've done it to themselves. Oh, Mrs. Weird Fantastic Toys is coming to the room. Hey, sweetheart, did you just wake up? I saw you sleeping.
Sleep on the couch.
Say hello to everyone.
Hey, how you doing?
She sounds kind of sleepy still, doesn't she?
I'm going to bed, baby.
All right. Good night, sweetheart. I'll see you later. Mrs. Weird says good night, everyone. And moving on down, Screw Your Feelings has joined us tonight. Good to see you there, sir. And Duchess is laughing at Johnny Sorensen. As I move on down, just getting away from me here. Oh, Vintage Motu just subscribed. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate you, sir. Bobby just subscribed to me, folks. And if you haven't looked up at Bobby's channel, please go over there. Orlando, if you would give a shout out to Bobby there in the chat, I would appreciate it. And I've got to move on down here. Let's see. We're talking about Kiss. I love that stage, way out of my price range. It was out of my price range when I bought it back in the day, but it's way out of that now, I'm sure. Says I'll watch Flash at home and then down the track when I can fast forward to see whatever 10 minutes is worth watching. You know, he's got a point there.
Might be right.
Yeah, I think so.
Right. I think it's predatory in that they're feeding on our nostalgia. Because I'm wondering how much time we're gonna see of that Batman in that movie.
I think we're going to be sorely disappointed at the amount of screen time he actually has. I'm just saying. I mean, that's just my thought. And Ezra Miller, total turn off, not the best Flash, and I agree with that. Run all sorts of things that
Shit.
I find. I'll say box art, but I buy stuff to look at and touch. Me too. Me too. Best Buy doesn't have DVDs or CDs anymore. It's hard to find smaller TVs. And Duchess said goodnight to Mrs. Weird Fantastic. And I think that catches up. Howdy legend, Zazel's in the house. Takes one to know one, Zazel. Good to see you, my friend. Okay, so that catches us up on the chat finally. And it took us 48 freaking minutes. Am I frozen or are you frozen, Jones? Jones. Oh, there you go. You just moved.
Yeah, we all left for a second there.
I didn't see it happen on this end, so I don't know. Right now, I've got a good connection. You don't. Let me take a small, quick commercial break, and then we'll be back and we'll start the show. We're still waiting on Sir Clifton to show up. I don't know if he ever got back from Amarillo. He said he would contact me if he couldn't be on tonight, but I haven't heard from him. So we'll watch a commercial break real quick, and we'll be right back, folks.
Fruit juicy. Hey, how about a nice Hawaiian punch?
Sure.
You taste 7 kinds of fruit in Hawaiian punch. 7 kinds of fruit in Hawaiian punch. Hawaiian punch is made with 7 kinds of fruit for a one-of-a-kind fruit taste.
Hawaiian Punch Fruit Punch with 10% real fruit juice for a real fruit juicy taste.
Hawaiian punch is made with 7 kinds of fruit
For a one-of-a-kind fruit taste.
Get dope out your vein and hope in your brain. You'll never get nowhere smoking the pipe. Never. You want to get your lesson out and want to be smart in school? Get rid of the drugs. Get away from the in crowd. Get close to God.
Join Brother James Salton for Up From the World, Sunday mornings, 8 a.m. here on WLMT.
A peaceful day in the Honeycomb hideout is suddenly interrupted by...
The Hulk!
A big Hulk wants big cereal!
Honeycomb, you better come through. Brace yourself, Hulk. Honeycomb's big. It's got a big bite that tastes right.
Big enough for a Hulk?
Just try it.
Horse Honeycomb cereal big and part of balanced breakfast. Hulk, go!
Don't forget your honeycomb.
Honeycomb big!
And it's got a big bite.
Last night I journeyed backwards in time to the medieval world of Dark Tower. In this amazing game, I had to find 3 keys, lay siege to the tower, and defeat the enemy within. Each move was a challenge. The computer kept track, giving me secret information, pictures, sounds, surprises. Then, ahead of my opponent, I made my move. The battle was joined, and I was victorious. Dark Tower.
He's a little bit of you, he's a little bit of me. He's the trash along the roadside of Tennessee. He's the garbage that we find. He's the dream we left behind. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash. A throwaway bottle or a pop-top can may not seem much to a traveling man, but a little bit of litter goes a long, long way. Growing, getting bigger every day. Tennessee trash messing up the highways. Tennessee trash jogging up the byways. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash.
We have met the enemy, and he is us.
Welcome back, folks. And Orson Welles was not very picky, especially towards the end of his career when he would do just about anything to make some money. But he was notoriously hard to work with, as we will soon see when we start looking into some of the things that he did. And Unicron sold Gojatron on Dark Tower. And if you don't know, that was one of the last things that Wells did was voice the voice of Unicron in the Transformer movie.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Those were great. Thank you. And OBS member buried all of them. Okay. I've got another set of commercials that we're going to show later on in the show. Tonight's show is going to go on a little long, I'm afraid. I went kind of hog wild. Johnny, if you'll look on your Instagram, I did send you the link, so if you want to join us, you can. I still haven't heard back from Sir Clifton. He may or may not be on the show tonight, although I did advertise him as being available, and I even put his picture on the thumbnail. But we may have a stand-in instead of him. And if he does show up, Sir Clifton, you just pop right on in, dude. We got a lot of shows, so we got a lot of time. Unicron was his final role, from Citizen Kane all the way down to Transformers, which Transformers was a pretty good movie. The only thing was that they wanted to shift the focus of that to newer toys, and so they thought that the best way to do that was to kill off the older toys, Optimus Prime. That didn't work out too well for them, and it was kind of scary for the little kids to see Optimus die like that. It was traumatic, I think.
I was certainly not prepared. I remember that as a child seeing that.
Yeah, and they were going to do the same thing with Duke and G.I. Joe, but when they saw what happened with Transformers, they kind of shifted gears on that one.
For the better. I wish Kevin Smith would have got the note with He-Man.
I will say once again that Fat Kevin Smith and Skinny Kevin Smith are two different people. The pod people came and they abducted Fat Kevin Smith and they replaced him with a pod person who was skinny. No,
I will say that Hawaiian Punch commercial that you had there, that brought me back actually to a memory of young Naughty Joneser who saw that commercial and went to one of his friends outside of the apartment and said, "Hey, do you want a Hawaiian Punch?" And then gave him one and then had to talk to that kid's mother, and that kid's mother went and took me to talk to my mother, and
your mother beat your ass probably.
Hawaiian spanking the ass for punching kids.
Mm-hmm. And Seuss had something weird stuff happen to her this week. You'll have to tell us a little bit about that, Seuss. And moving on down my link isn't working. What link? What link? Which link is not working? Tell me which link is not working, and I'll see if I can fix it. I don't know what he's talking about.
Might have been when we blinked out.
I don't know. Weird shit happening lots lately. Seuss, killing Optimus Prime and scaring their target audience. Yeah. Let's see. Sometime I'll have to tell you about it this week. Okay. Well, you know my email. Send me an email. I'll be glad to entertain that and read that and answer you back. You don't even know what they did with the Transformers cartoon now. You know, I haven't seen anything new that they've done. Joneser, the reason why we have violent cartoon commercials anymore, we can't have violent cartoon commercials anymore.
My young, impressionable mind. I just couldn't handle it.
And welcome to the show, Johnny. Good to see you, sir.
Oh, hey.
We're just kind of hanging out here. Let me move on down the line here and see what else. Bill, the Streamlabs link isn't working. Oh, is my Streamlab link not working? Okay. Let me see what's going on here. Let's see here. Let me get Streamlab open.
I noticed when Jones got frozen earlier, he had his hand up like this. I think he's going to start chopping people.
Yeah, it's frozen in jitsu.
Yeah,
I
there
just
you
got it
go.
this week. Yeah.
You guys just chat amongst yourselves while I get try to get Streamlab open here,
Yeah,
and I
and
may
I got
myself
this guy
see what's
here.
going on.
Oh,
Old
some
Buff,
hero.
Buff Bagwell's cousin.
There you go.
Not bad.
All right, I'm going to repost this. Yeah, he's talking about Streamlab. That's where I get my tips there, John.
Oh, gotcha. We can't have that not working.
No, that's a major baddie thing there. We got to fix that.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm going to run over here to.
It's like a Barbarian
Here.
Superman where he's just wearing pretty much a He-Man outfit.
Oh, that's cool.
So I just got it to go with Masterverse because it's in the same scale. Otherwise, I thought it was kind of a stupid figure, but the head on it's actually really nice. It's a really nice sculpt.
Yeah, it does look cool.
Now, I'm tempted to get another one of that second of that Masterverse Beastman to have them in the two different outfits.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I got them both. Honestly, I like the new Eternia version way better than the naked Beastman. But
yeah, I like both. I've got them. Yeah, I've got them with the whole headgear and the furry bits and all that on. And
well, I like the extra armor pieces.
Yeah,
arms
cool.
and legs.
Yeah, I like those a lot. I've got them down there. That's why I'm looking down there to see what I had on them.
In fact, one of the coolest things is I put the classic look on the new Eternia Beastman, and I put that extra furry armor on the naked Beastman. That way, I have two Beastmen with some armor.
Yeah, and the cool thing is you got those old, not the mini comics. Well, I haven't read the mini comics, but some of the DC comics, you have the race of Beastmen. There's just millions and extra guys running around.
Right. Yeah, they were like minions of them. I know the original DC Comics run, or not the original, the one they did in 2010-ish, I want to say. Yeah. They had, it started off with kids running from the Beastmen chasing them, and then they ran into Sir Laser-Lot, and that was kind of how the whole story.
All right. Here we go. Pope just donated $50.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's some special favor money.
All right, come on, everybody. All hail the Pope. All hail the Pope. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. That was an unexpected bonus there, Pope. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much.
I'll have to check that Instagram when I'm off the thing. I can't do it while the phone is what's filming me, and if I try to do something with it, I'll be out of the show. I'll check it later.
Pope. Yeah, woohoo, Pope. Yeah, much love there, Pope. Much love, my friend. And love you, Bill says Pope. I love you back, Pope. Man, you are the man tonight. Matter of fact, I think Pope is my number one supporter. Number one. So thank you so much, Pope. I'm going to have to do something special for you one of these days here on the channel. And nice, Pope, for the Faster Internet Fund. Yes, this what I'm going for right now is a new modem. The new modem will allow me to have even more speed, so that some of the hiccups that I've had in the past will go away, and I can do more craziness over here, like when I show videos, that it won't freeze and stuff. And we hope that works out. So thank you so much, Pope. You are a big help, really are, sir. You really are, and you've helped me from day one, and I appreciate that.
You're well on your way to that modem now.
Yeah, I mean, really am. And all this is like I said, all of these funds that you send me, whether it be Patreon or Streamlab or what have you, are all going into one pile. And when the money collects up, I will purchase. And if you are on Patreon, whenever I make a purchase, I always let all my Patreons know I took the money, I bought this, and this is what I'm getting. So,
if you're on the Patreon, you'll see Bill rolling around on that pile of money at the end of the year, but not quite enough to cover his naked body.
I will admit, I may do a Scrooge McDuck and swim in it for a minute before I spend it.
I was just gonna say,
yeah. And see, Pope says, when I head down south, we're going to have to hit up some Cajun food. Yeah, we can do that. Now the problem is, I'm more closer to Memphis than I am New Orleans. So the Cajun food we have here is not real Cajun food, but I know that they do a crawfish festival over in Tunica, Mississippi, and that crawfish, I can eat the hell out of some crawfish all day long. You squeeze them tails and you suck them heads. Pinch they tail and suck they head. You ever had crawfish?
I have. It was one of those things where it's like I picked it up and I looked at everybody, and then somebody had to school me on how to eat that thing. Mm-hmm. So I was like, "What do you do?"
And if you get the big ones that have the big claws, there's meat in those claws too.
Right.
I'll just buy you one.
Can't do food like that, but Jones is brave and will probably eat anything. There you go.
Yeah. I love your chat, everyone. And everyone that I bring on board. Well, thank you. And Shaitan's Hammer is back. And that brings me to something. Shaitan's Hammer has a little community page over here, and he posts occasionally on it. And he posted about 12 hours ago. He says, my next purchase needs to be Motu related. I've kind of let the Marvel Legends bug overtake me, and I'm not even a huge Marvel guy. I might as well just add more Horde troopers, but we shall see. Possibly a 2000X King Randor. I suggest a 2000X Randor. That is an excellent figure. Now, I didn't buy it for my collection. It's not going to fit. But the figure itself, if I ever see it on the shelf, I will probably buy it. But I'll probably do the same thing with Duplico. I'll tear him apart and make something different with him. But yeah.
That's some good sculpts in that line.
The crawfish we have here is in the mud. That's what they is. They mud bugs. Hope, where you from? I'm from South Carolina, says Manic Plastic Toy Shop. Now, Mike, New Mexico? Is that where you're at, Pope? I think I'm right on that. I love your chat too. You guys are great, says Duchess. Thank you, Duchess. Thank you so much.
I just subscribed to her channel because Bill mentioned it earlier.
Nothing like what I hear in the South. Okay. Well, up here, the crawfish are not nearly as big and tasty as the ones that you get from Louisiana. And most of the people who sell crawfish up here get them from and bring them up from Louisiana. And, of course, you have to cook those buggers live. In Ohio, we call them crawdaddies.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we called them crawdad, but I think I learned that word from either Andy Griffith's show or from Beverly Hillbillies. Yeah, I thought you lived in New Mexico. Look. Old brain's still working, old as I am. And Randall resonates with Shaitan's Hammer. All right. Going back to what we had planned to have tonight. The first thing that I wanted to show tonight, and I was hoping Sir Clifton would join me for this, but he's not here. But I'm sure he'll watch the replay of this. We talk about wrestling occasionally on here. Johnny, you're a big wrestling fan, and so are you, Joneser, I think.
Oh yeah.
Have either of you guys heard of the Canadian lumberjack Joe LeDuc?
Don't know.
The name rings a bell, but I can't say it. I could remember a match or an interview or anything.
First of all, I suggest that you go to YouTube and look him up and watch all of his promos that are available, even the ones that are in bad quality.
Say his name again, and I can type it.
Joe LeDuc.
And
it's spelled, it's Canadian, so it's French Canadian.
Yeah, French Canadian.
You spell LeDuc,
yeah.
LEDUC, LeDuc.
Was he featured on Stampede Wrestling, Bill?
He's been in many promotions. He actually made it up to WWF before it was all said and done. And but I remember him specifically being on Memphis Wrestling. Jimmy Hart brought him in as a monster to get rid of Jerry Lawler during the big feud that he had with Lawler that lasted years and years and years. I mean, Jimmy Hart would bring in these monsters and send them out to get rid of Lawler, such as Bam Bam Bigelow. Well, Joe LeDuc was one of these. And Joe LeDuc is scary, okay? He's insane, legitimately insane, thank you, and scary. Even Dutch Mantel said that he didn't want to do anything with, he didn't have anything to do with Joe LeDuc because Joe LeDuc concerned him. And what I'm going to show you tonight, this really happened. It's something that you won't see on TV today, especially on Saturday morning. But it happened live on wrestling. I don't know if this was planned or not, but Joe LeDuc was in a feud with Lawler at this point, and Lawler had already busted his head and at the Mid-South Coliseum show on that Monday night. So this Saturday morning, here comes Joe back onto the stage, and this made me believe wrestling was real. This is the kind of crap that made me as a kid believe that this was absolutely real and that these people were trying to murder one another. Watch this craziness. And Joe will tell you, I'm not crazy. But that's the thing. Crazy people never admit to being crazy. Ever. They're the ones saying everybody else is crazy. Watch this crazy shit. Here we go.
Nelson Royal, the world junior heavyweight champion, LeDuc against Lawler, and that's the action Monday. Well, hey, come on now, Joe. We've had enough trouble in the studio here, and Joe LeDuc, who will be challenged.
I'm tired of having anybody and everybody say that I'm sick and I'm crazy. Shut up, I gotta talk to you. Jerry Lawler, you said on this television right here that I was afraid to come here because you were here. Well, I'm going to show you, punk. I'm here, and now is better than ever. Come and get me. Come and get me. And now, Jerry Jarrett, yeah, you're my boss. You want to fire me? That's fine. But nobody's going to stop me from going to that Coliseum Monday night. You can fire me anytime you want after Monday night. Jerry Lawler, you just saw that film. You just paid how much money you paid those people to show that film where you double-crossed me. I had you beat right down the middle. Yes. And after the match, Jarrett, you can fire me.
Okay, man, the guy just loses touch with reality. That's all there is to it. He did it. And, well, anyhow, Monday night, that will be Lawler's problem. Tickets available all day till 5 o'clock today, all day on Monday.
So, yeah, Joe LeDuc was a beast man. What did you think of Joe LeDuc there, Joneser?
Guy's wild. He reminded me a little bit of Mad Dog Vachon, the way his interview style. You know,
He actually fought Mad Dog Bashan at some point or another. They had a match together.
I would have loved to have seen that. He reminded me of him in his interview style for sure.
One of the things that Joe LeDuc would do, and it was a feat of strength, and they would do this occasionally. He would put these leather straps on his arm attached to ropes, and they would get 5 people on one side and 5 people on the other, and Joe would clench his arms like this right here, like he was going to do a bear hug, and they would pull the ropes to try to break his grip, and they could never ever do it. This guy he picked Lawler up and threw him 7 feet across the Mid-South Coliseum one time. It was one of the first times that we'd ever seen a wrestler hit the announce table.
It wasn't the last.
No, it wasn't. Back then, that was a big deal. When Lawler hit that announce table, he didn't land on the flat part of it. He landed on the corner part of it. And then he just flopped into the floor and just laid there on the ground. It was absolutely amazing. And I thought Joe LeDuc was crazy. Every time he came on TV, he would bleed. Just bleed from like Sandman, just bleed. He'd make himself bleed. There's one interview where they went to his house to interview him, and he picks up something, a vase or something full of dirt, and just busts himself in the head until he busts his head wide open. I mean, just crazy. So I thought I would share that since we do wrestling occasionally on here. Going through the chat said, Ted Mielek is here. How do you do, sir? I've been watching Monday Night Wars on Peacock. Susudio says, do you remember a wrestler named Pampero Firpo? No, I do not. As you say in Mexican Spanish, no names, no shit. Okay. And some new comments here. Johnny Sorensen, you're busy chatting with Ted Mielek there. And he ain't got nothing on Mankind. Nobody has anything on Mankind except maybe Terry Funk. Good Lord.
I remember when the doctors in his biography book around 99, 2000, they said they'd done the scans on his head. They're like, you got to stop taking these damn shots to your head. And he's like, radio doc, I'm semi-retiring. I'm doing more other stuff. A few exhibition matches. Goes and does that infamous match with The Rock where he smacks him about 8 or 10 times. And he's supposed to give him the signal or say kind of stop. And he's knocked out on his feet. So he never gives him the signal. He keeps going.
Well, and he's handcuffed at that point, so I don't see how. What is his signal? Blink?
Just anything other than being knocked out on your feet and punch stroke.
Who knows?
And then they go on the metal ramp.
I agree. Mick Foley is absolutely an amazing worker, and he even scared Vince McMahon. Vince said, I appreciate everything you've done for me, but please don't ever do that again. And of course, that was the infamous match with the Undertaker, where Jim Ross was like, "Somebody stop the match!"
He's straight to hell.
Well, in that book that Johnny's referencing, that call is determined to have been legitimate. That was he was concerned for the life of his friend. So he wasn't acting as a wrestling color announcer or whatever he was doing. He was legitimately calling for sanity here and saying, come on, guys, like enough is enough here.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. Yeah, it was. But back to Joe LeDuc. If you get a chance to watch some of this shit, there's a video out there of him doing the feat of strength that I talked about. There's a lot of stuff, and he didn't just wrestle in Memphis; he wrestled all over the place. And there are videos out there of him in other promotions. But I remember him distinctly as being on Memphis Wrestling. He would come in, and usually he would feud with Lawler, and nobody else wanted to work with him. As I told you earlier, that Dutch Mantell there's a shoot interview with Dutch Mantell, and it wasn't that long ago, where the commentator asked him about working with Joe LeDuc, and he's like, "Look, Joe LeDuc was one of those kind of people where you would walk into the dressing room and he would just look at you, and you didn't know whether he was serious or whether he was just messing with you." He said he concerned me, and I never did any work with him. He was all I was Lawler's thing, and I don't think Dutch even wanted to work with this guy. Dutch said everybody's seen that where he cut his arm open with that axe. He said, if you don't care about your own self, I know you don't care about me.
That makes sense to me.
Really?
Well, and wrestling has always been an art of the crazy, being crazy like a fox, laughing all the way to the bank as they perform their gimmicks and capture the audience's wonder and imagination. And I think this guy is no different. I'm sure he wasn't like, when he came home to his kids, hey, little Johnny, you messed up in school, and Dad, I'll just cut his arm with an axe. And, I'm sure he was, as normal as he could be. But, I don't know if y'all have met somebody in your life who could turn it up to 10 on command when they wanted to. And I believe this is probably one of those cats, who could just, he knew how to flip the switch and turn it on.
Yeah.
Looks like a big solid dude too, like big like Warlord or Hawk and Animal kind of solid.
Yeah, he was a big guy. I mean, what would you say, Bill? 6+, 200?
Well, here's I don't know. Talking about Joe LeDuc himself, how tall was he? I don't know how tall he was. See, the problem is
barrel chested and all that.
Oh, he was a stocky guy.
Right.
But that's a real wrestler to me, because the best wrestlers are not tall guys; they're stocky mid-sized guys.
Right.
See, now, here's the thing that they did. They hired Dave Brown and they hired Lance Russell to be the announcers on the live wrestling there at Channel 5 and Channel 13 before that. Well, these guys, if you ever meet them in person, of course, you can't meet Lance anymore. He's no longer with us. Rest in peace, Lance Russell. They're midgets almost. They're like 5'3" to 4 feet tall. I mean, they're in that range between 4 and 5 feet tall, and they hired them like that on purpose so that Jerry Lawler could stand next to him. And Jerry Lawler's not a tall fella if you've ever met him, and looked like they were towering above them, so they looked bigger than they actually were.
Kind of like Mean Gene Okerlund. He wasn't a big guy either.
Yeah. How much did the new Marvel universe screw up the comic universe?
I would say that comic universe is doing a very good job of screwing itself up without the movies. If anything, the movies have kind of helped.
Case in point, what's going on over there in the X-Men? They're going to dinner parties and prom and all that kind of shit over there in the X-Men. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, I want to say I picked up an X-Men comic book just to get caught back up a year ago or so when I started buying new comic books again, and I was fairly disappointed. I mean, basically, last I saw, and someone could correct me if they know better than me, but they herded all the mutants into Krakoa, good and evil mutant alike, and they're all just kind of one big happy family, separated from Earth, mankind, or whatever. They're all just on their own little island, which to me defeated the whole purpose, because in my mind, I'm old school, the spirit of the X-Men was always Charles Xavier saying we gotta all be together, and Magneto saying no, we gotta fight. Well, isn't if you separated everybody and now you're doing segregation or whatever, doesn't that mean you failed? I mean, that would be, that's my take on it.
Stories post 2000 where even Cyclops, the diehard, who was like, we got to do what Xavier says and be morally right, even he was like, fuck it, what we're doing is not working. Let's try Magneto's way. And they've pretty much been going that way since post 2000 X-Men stories.
Right. And Cyclops was my favorite X-Men. Cyclops was my favorite character.
And the direction of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is taking a crazy turn as well. From what I understand, it's so bad that they put a halt on things. They said, okay, phase 5 we've got to rethink because phase 4 we
It's not a
screwed up.
phase. It's just nothing.
I agree, and I have not seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3, nor have I seen the Ant-Man movie before that. Which
I watched that last night.
Did you watch the Ant-Man movie, or did you watch Guardians of the
Yeah,
Galaxy?
I watched the Ant-Man last night, like at home, and I purposely just haven't watched anything in the cinema this year from Marvel, and I've like read Marvel for 20 or 30 years, I guess. And it was, I thought of all the recent ones, it wasn't awful, but it wasn't interesting. It was completely just vanilla, the whole thing, just boring, really.
Mm-hmm. Now I understand Guardians of the Galaxy is 3 is good, but it's not enough to fix things. So
No,
I haven't seen either of these movies. For what I've seen of Ant-Man, the Ant-Man movie, there's some fuckery going on there, and I'm not very happy about. But anyway, yeah.
I will say I saw the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
That was
infinitely better than the Star Wars one.
Yeah, well, that's not a high bar to try to get above there, Jones. Or I'll
I'm going to say I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very good Christmas special, and it was very enjoyable.
Well, it was funny too, and it was
right.
it did. I didn't mind the humor in that so much because the Guardians of the Galaxy was a humorous movie. They were humorous movies anyway,
right?
So there was that.
Yeah, most folks have said, like, I've watched pretty much every Marvel film, even before the modern ones, go back to the 90s, the Blade and all that, and most folks have said, like, pretty much once they did Endgame and they had all that build up. After that, it's just been they're just spinning their wheels.
Well, they Endgame was such a big deal that how can you?
And I was pissed off there was no Adam Warlock in any of that. I was like,
yeah, that whole deal was hard to follow up anyway. And the follow up that they had was a bunch of television miniseries on Disney Plus and a couple of movies that are awful. And I guess they finally released the Marbles. What? Who cares?
I'll say this: when the Infinity Gauntlet story first came out in comic books, I want to say I was in like 6th grade or 7th grade, so I was probably your target audience at the time. Like, and they did something that they do all the time now, but I think it started in like Secret Wars or whatever, where it was a crossover, so you had to buy an issue of everything to get the whole story and to buy all the books. And I remember like foregoing my lunch money to buy Infinity Gauntlet crossover books because at the time I was collecting Spider-Man and whatever else I cherry picked around. But then this was like the month or two where I had to get everything and the Infinity Gauntlet one. So I was like foregoing lunch to buy these books and was really into this story. And then they put it in a movie and I'm thinking, how are they going to do this in the movie when they don't even have the rights to all the characters? And so it was kind of a mess.
Wolverine kills Thanos in the first story. He's not even in it.
Right. Or there's even that epic moment where Thanos like turns Wolverine into a puddle of goo. You know, and that was an epic moment. I mean, Iron Man gets his head punched off and like
Thor. Like the reality gem. He lets the whole battle play out and Wolverine actually kills Thanos, but reality gem, he goes and just resets it and lets it go all over again.
Right. But it's like my friends who weren't so savvy with the comics, they went to the movie when they saw like, Spider-Man die and everybody die and the whole thing.
No.
They were like all blown. What? Is that how it happens in the comics? And I was like, actually in the comics, it was probably a little more brutal. It was a shocker to people.
I actually kind of perversely enjoyed that bit because for people that don't know comics, I'm kind of laughing and they're like crying. Oh no, the characters! I'm like, you don't know, they're coming back, you idiots, and I stay dead.
Right. Have you ever read a comic book? Nobody dies except
nobody stays
Uncle
dead.
Ben.
What is it? Any character dies in the comics. If you don't see the body, they're not dead. If you do see the body, they're probably not dead.
clone,
No.
doppelganger, mirror
The
universe.
joke is the only two that stay dead, or three, is Uncle Ben and Batman's parents. Everybody else comes back.
Well,
it used to be Bucky and Aunt May, but then that
yeah,
changed as well.
Bucky and Flash. It used to be Bucky and Flash. Bucky and Flash stay dead, but no, they pulled
Or
back.
even original Green Goblin stayed dead for a while.
For a long time.
Yeah,
I didn't like when they brought him back because I was reading Spider-Man right through the 90s, and it was probably the worst decade of Spider-Man comics. But I didn't like when they brought him back because it was just shit the way they did it. I didn't mind later on when he became the Secret Avengers and he had his own Osborn-sponsored evil Avengers. I thought that was kind of cool.
That was
the stuff
fun.
before that.
It was all of that was a stunt to make money.
Yeah, for sure. But like they kind of they made it more interesting rather than just he's back. They actually did something else with him later on.
The last Spider-Man comic I read,
not live.
Spider-Man, Jonah Jameson, and Norman Osborn were all like friendly, and like I felt like where am I? Like what is going on?
Yeah. Well, you crossed over into Allison and beyond the magic mirror there.
Yeah, they started with Osborn was the Green Goblin, and later on they did the thing like the Hulk, where they made it a sub-personality that would take him over and everything.
Yeah, well, now I'm going to go here and address Screw Your Feelings, talking about Kamala. Not the Ugandan giant, but Miss Marvel. It's supposed to be the first mutant in the MC cinematic universe. When I heard that, it broke my heart. Well, I don't know, but what they did was they put that damn teaser at the very end of that stupid TV show, where the other character comes up to her and tells her, yes, you're a mutant, and then they played the little snippet of the X-Men theme, and just stop.
You know what hurts me is I'm a big Fantastic Four fan, and that's one of the comics that I've read pretty consistently all my life, and even to this day I'm still reading the Fantastic Four, and I would say it's more good than it is bad. You know, I mean, it has had some problems with it, but I would have to say that it's still capturing my joy, or at least the more recent Fantastic Four stuff has, compared to some of the other things Marvel offers. But for them to not be in the Marvel universe, it's like that's the first family of superheroes. Like that's the
family.
comic.
I've been saying that for over a decade.
I mean, granted, the farther away from the 60s you take the Fantastic Four, the more they don't seem to belong.
No.
So
but you don't have a Marvel universe without Fantastic Four. It doesn't exist.
Exactly.
They are the universe.
Well, Chaitan's Hammer says they're poised to ruin Fantastic Four.
For the fourth time.
Again.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Fantastic Four movies are doomed to failure.
You know what sucks is
if
best
made
was the one I saw when I was a kid, and it was that Roger Corman piece.
Yeah, that's the best one. That's watchable.
That's horrible.
But it's more watchable than the other ones.
It's sad. It's sad, but true. It's sad.
Yeah. And I mean, that one's infamous for being made only so that they could have the rights, and it was never meant to be released in the first place. And
I'd say the Doctor Doom in that is far superior than any of the ones you've seen in any of the other movies. And Doom, he's the inspiration for Darth Vader. I mean,
he's
Doom
not an Australian for one.
An epic villain, an epic presence. How Marvel's doing Marvel without Doctor Doom is just unbelievable to me.
I couldn't believe they made that one for the Australian guy from the Nick Tuck show was doing.
I mean, good Lord, Doctor Doom. He's an evil megalomaniac who has a suit of armor that does everything for him. Don't make him a mutant. Don't make him go in space with Reed Richards.
He's already got magic like Doctor Strange and technology like Iron Man. Doesn't need.
Well, that's true. But you know what I'm saying is, I mean, they're trying to go too far with him, and like the first Fantastic Four movie, they made the armor part of his body. Come on, folks, no.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that Fantastic Four movie almost got me to walk out of the movie theater immediately within the first 10 minutes of it, I talked my friends into going, I'm a big Fantastic Four fan. And I liked the old, what was it, the Hanna-Barbera on the Cartoon Network. I love that. You know, and yeah, it's corny, it's cheesy, but it's awesome. And so I talked my friends into going to this. We watched a bunch of those like in preparation because of course I've got them. And so we go to the theater, we get our snacks, we watch the movie, and within the first 10 minutes of the movie, hi, I'm Victor Von Doom. And I'm like, why do I see his face?
Yeah.
I shouldn't see his face.
It's not a Doom bot.
Well, to be honest with you, the first time I ever saw anything to do with the Fantastic Four was the 1970s cartoon show with Robbie the Robot or whatever the thing was.
Fire is dangerous, kids. They play with fire.
Yeah.
Fire.
And to be honest, that's better than anything that I've ever saw in the movie theater dealing with the Fantastic Four, and that was shit. The only time I ever really enjoyed watching Fantastic Four, and people will disagree with me too on this, was the cartoon show that came out. Was it in the 90s?
There was a 90s one, early 90s with the Fox kids, and then in the year 2000 there was another one, and both of them are quite watchable.
Yeah, I didn't see the one. I didn't see the later one, but I saw the one that was on the Fox Kids, and
the later one thing looks really cool. He's big and beefy, how he should be.
There's also a lesser known one where I think it was maybe the early 80s or the late 70s where they had the Thing Ring, do your thing, and he transformed into the Thing.
Was that an actual animation, or that wasn't those terrible motion comics?
Okay, you're banned from the show. Just for that, you're gone, dude.
Banned.
You don't remember that cartoon?
Consequences.
I remember that. God, that was awful. Thing Ring, do your thing.
Yeah, well, that came on the screen. Bill was like,
little Benji Grimm.
Right. Well, they were trying to do like a Captain Marvel thing, or I don't know what they were doing with that.
Yeah, there's some stupid stuff.
In the Plastic Man cartoon around the same time.
I liked the Plastic Man cartoon.
Plastic Man one was good.
Did you guys ever see before those animations? Exactly. They did. It must have been 60s. They did a really bad like motion comic. I mean, literally, it was comic panels where they would read dialogue, and they weren't. It was Jack Kirby stuff, and they weren't even licensing it properly, and it was a big mess.
I remember those. I remember those cartoons. Yeah, and matter of fact,
Banner tempted by the Hulk.
That's basically what they were. They were motion comics.
They literally were comic panels that they just put on screen and made sounds and basically the way they made it was basically illegal. That wasn't set up properly, and they pretty much had to stop doing it.
Yeah. Thor, they had Captain America, they had Submariner, Iron Man. They did all of them, and they were basically like comic animation, if you could even call it that.
Yeah, it's not everything counts as animation.
It was very limited animation. It was kind of like the He-Man Golden books that you would get.
Yeah, but they took the actual panels without permission. They had permission to make the show, but they didn't have the legal permission to use the panels.
Kirby, if I'm not mistaken. Jack Kirby had no credit on any of those.
No, he had nothing to do with it, but they were using his work.
Plagiarized his work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Some of those were good, though. I enjoyed the Thor ones. Across the Rainbow Bridge.
Makes me want to go back. I've got some of that stuff that I acquired over the years from various different.
Yeah, I just picked up a 70s Batman animation on DVD, but it doesn't even tell you in the listing all the DVD which of the two shows in that era it is. So I haven't watched it yet. So when I put it in, I'll find out what it is.
Well, come on, Batman cartoons. Now the Filmation did a Batman cartoon.
Yeah, there was that one.
Late 60s.
And then what's the other one? Hanna-Barbera? Or?
Well, here's the thing. They did that Batman. The Filmation did Batman cartoon back then. Now it was part of the Batman Superman hour, if I'm not mistaken, back in the late 60s. It's pretty good. I like the opening sequence on that. If you have epilepsy, it'll put you into an epileptic fit. But other than that, the shows were pretty decent. Now, then in the early 70s, the Hanna-Barbera did the Super Friends, which had Batman and Robin on it, and they used the same voice actors from Filmation to do that. except for I think Casey Kasem did Robin. But then and Olin Soleil was doing Batman, if I'm not mistaken. Now, then in the late 70s, Filmation did Batman again, the New Adventures of Batman. That
Yeah,
had
New
Batman
Adventures.
in
It was like
and
Batman and then New Adventures. Yeah.
And the New Adventures had Adam West and Burt Ward doing it, and they reused the animation from the earlier because Filmation.
Yeah.
They,
Like the one I've got, it's either
why
Adventures of
recreate what
Batman
we've
from
already
'69 or
created?
New, but I don't know which it is until I watch it.
But
the cover
what
tells you
was
nothing.
Yeah, what was interesting at the time, though, was that this was the only time during that particular time that you had Batman appearing on two separate networks, on two separate television shows.
Oh.
You had Batman and the Super Friends over here on ABC, and over here, I guess it was on NBC, you had the New Adventures of Batman done by Filmation. So two different studios on two different networks doing Batman at the same time. And if you watch the New Adventures of Batman at the beginning of the opening sequence, it shows the Riddler, but instead of being in a green costume, he's in this fucked up pink costume. What the hell is that all about? And he never appears on the show. The reason for that was because they didn't have the rights to use the Riddler. They had him wrapped up with the Legion of Doom over there on Challenge of the Super Friends, so they couldn't use the Riddler at all over there on Filmation. But they snuck him into the opening credits in a pink costume.
And then superheroes and their licensing rights.
Odd. Well, they didn't think we were smart enough to be able to understand that this we would be confused by that. I don't know.
I mean, when I was a kid, I was watching repeats of Transformers for the 20th time, and often they'll use a character model of the same character in the background and just change the color of it, and you think that character doesn't exist.
Well,
we did that a lot.
I just changed into a whole different person. Now I'm Bill again.
Super Bill, able to leap plot holes in a single bout.
Thank you, Rolo. Weird Fantastic Tour Adventures. This year is a whole new experience, not a single flow in the whole stream. I always loved your show, but I have to congratulate you for the great advance. Had to do it. I had to bite that bullet. Thank you, Jones, for spurring that on. The Marvel superhero cartoons that you're referring to, according to Gojitron, were actually done by the same studio that did the 67 Spider-Man cartoon, which was actually pretty damn good. And I didn't remember this from watching it as a child, but rewatching it, a lot of those shows were based upon the comic stories, and I didn't realize that.
Because they didn't have nothing else to go on, no lazy writers to hire to rewrite them.
Right. I mean, why not? If it's already done, hell, you already got the storyboard for your freaking movie right there. Why not?
Well, and
there's no interference to rewrite it, but at the same time, they weren't paying the guys that already wrote them.
Well, and just like Jack Kirby, who didn't get any love for his work, I don't think Mr. Ditko got any love on that cartoon either.
He was off being a recluse.
Right.
Well, don't ever meet your heroes. You know, we all thought Steve Ditko was a cool guy, but it turned out he really is an asshole.
Well, and I just, again, that's one of those people where I'm a big fan of his work, but maybe not so much of his ideological beliefs and what he was into as a human being. But his artwork just speaks to me. And I mean, even his
ideological beliefs are, go ahead and read his work on question. I'm sorry, I overtalked you there, Jones. Repeat that.
Oh no, you're fine.
Yeah,
I was just saying the stuff he did in Charlton was worthy, even though it didn't have the commercial success like Spider-Man had.
There's people smarter now to copyright their own things, and if they're going to be a recluse, get an agent on your behalf and not let people get steamroll over you.
Well, you live and you learn. But what I was going to say was, if you want to see what Steve Ditko's ideological beliefs were, just go ahead and read his work on the question back in the Carlton.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of when you said that.
or Mr. A. Mr. A was even more in your face than the question.
Very, very Randian and Randian concepts there. The bat embargo of the 90s. DC and Warner thought we couldn't deal with different versions, a universe known for its multiverse. Very much
different
well known
times.
for its multiverse, but then the crisis happened because they thought that we couldn't deal with that. And you know what they say, the good intentions, are the road to hell, and you never know what's going to be caused by what you think is going to be the fix for everything. And I'm sorry, as much as Crisis was a wonderful story, it was, and as much as it's a linchpin and everything, and we all enjoyed it, the damage that was caused by Crisis on Infinite Earths is still being felt to this very day.
Yeah.
It didn't solve a damn thing.
I like the book for all the artwork, but yeah, I agree with everything. It's just a big mess. And
is the multiverse back? I think it is.
It never really went away. If you get out of the comic book gutter and look at all the different media, we've got figures, we've got toys, we've got movies, we've got animation. It never really. There's always alternate versions of everything out there.
Well, it's back the way it was before. And even the Marvel universe is now a multiverse.
Dude, here, you got to pull me up on big screen here for a second.
What's he got?
The He-Man multiverse.
Are the comics any good?
Now in the trying to get the glare out, but they got this story here from Dark Horse where they're tackling the multiverse for Masters of the Universe. So they're doing He-Man multiverse.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me any, and it's probably for the best because, therefore, like other people have said, I won't mention any names here on the interwebs. Why not? Because then you can say, okay, Revelation is its own multiverse; it doesn't affect this. Or you can be like me, and you can be a stuck in the past and stay in the storybook era. Or you can bring Filmation into it, or you can say, okay, the Prince Adam from DC Comics is my Prince Adam, but I don't like Filmation Adam who wears pink, and whatever. It all fits together, and a multiverse is a perfect way to get around that. Why not?
I like in the older comics that they wouldn't, before they were using that term and before the crises, they would have. Like has an alternate world story or something, but it's just the one issue. It doesn't affect anything else. It's when it starts confusing and mucking up the main things, and you can't tell one thing from another. That's when it gets confusing.
No,
the problem is being a big comic book fan and reading everything from all eras. Like I love the Batman stuff. The 70s doesn't go with the Batman stuff of the 80s and 90s. It's all kind of compartmentalized. They're in its different place. And it's like trying to read the modern stuff. And it's like one of the first things I thought is, what this all needs is it just needs to get wrapped up and rebooted. But that's also the last thing it freaking needs too.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of rebooting every few years. Let's enough of those.
Reimagined.
Well, how come
about go back to writer's school and write a fucking good story? Do that.
And Shaitan's Hammer says even the CGI He-Man acknowledged that there was a Motu multiverse.
I'm going to watch that this year sometime and have a look at that.
I actually enjoyed it more than Kevin Smith's version, and I thought it would be the reverse. I thought I would hate that one, love that one, and it ended up the other way.
I'm going to watch it sometime. The art style puts me off, but it seems to be a big American thing to do weird, super deformed stuff in animation the last 20 years. So you got to look past that and see what's the story in it. And
yeah, let me type out a quick little message here.
There you go.
Got that guy on sale. I don't hate him. He's all right.
No, the voice actor, I think, for that Skeletor for that show really is what got me to watch it.
Yeah, he's good. I watched a clip just on YouTube. The voice is good.
He really made me want to watch the thing. Was the voice portrayal of Skeletor on that really carried me through. And the storytelling's good. And it's basically just He-Man reimagined for a modern day child.
Yeah, like they do with everything, Thundercats and whatever. It's like different reimagined. And,
Well,
not the stupid one. I mean, the good reimagining.
Well, here's the thing: the CGI series had the same spirit, whereas the Kevin Smith's Revelation did not.
Yeah, I thought it was a bad move splitting that show in two for stupid Netflix. They should have played it as one thing so you could just watch it.
That would have helped it for sure.
It gave a real false impression. I remember all the mania on the internet. I was just like, shut the hell up. I just didn't engage with it until
Well, a lot of people think
then
a lot of people think that the ire, especially my ire for it, was the fact that T-Law was the main character and that He-Man.
Well, that was a bait and switch. That's not up for a debate. They definitely
that's not the thing that pissed me off. It was Kevin Smith who pissed me off. His lies and damned lies were what pissed me off.
False memories from all the weed, more like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
which he's now quit, apparently.
I mean, he was 25 years old, running home from school because I guess he got held back a lot when he was in school.
I've listened to his podcast since the beginning. He did not watch that show as a kid. He used to talk about how he didn't even like that show as a kid.
Yes.
Yeah, but he became a super fan as soon as he started doing that show. So yeah, bull crap.
In fact, it was funny. My cousin was all excited about it because he knew I'm a He-Man guy, and he was like, "Oh, did you hear? Kevin Smith's going to do the He-Man show." And I'm like, "He hates He-Man." And then he's like, "What? No, dude, he's a super fan." And I'm like,
he's a super
"That what he's
fan.
saying?"
No, he's not. He lied.
I didn't have an issue with the idea of it because he's been a comics fan for a long time, and it's not when they go. It's like when you see Quentin Tarantino presents. If it says presents, it doesn't mean he's writing everything. There's a whole team of writers. He's just like the showrunner or one guy. There's a whole team of writers, and if you get good, decent writers, hopefully they know the show and looking into it, not just idiots. But no guarantees.
What I'm hoping for this Masters of the Universe comic book that they're doing now is that it kind of opens the door for them to finish their Kevin Smith show that they're doing that's coming out that they've already got.
Is it still going?
And then they could put an end to that, and then opens the door for a different version of Masters of the Universe that maybe some of us older cats wanted to see. You know.
So is that show cancelled or still going? I haven't heard.
They are doing another season. It's already being voice acted and worked on. It should be out next year, I think.
Did you like the voice cast? I like Tony Todd as Scareglow. I thought that was cool.
There were a lot of moments in that show that I liked. I did a review of it on my channel. That was very.
And whoever did Merman, I liked his voice. It was like.
Yeah, that was actually Kevin Conroy who did Batman.
Yeah, I knew. I couldn't think of who it was. I knew it was someone I liked, and he just made him like a badass Merman instead of a goofy Merman.
Right. Yeah, I thought the Man at Arms was a good voice portrayal. The Evil Lynn. There were a lot of good points. I even thought the He-Man guy did a great job with what he had.
Of course, and even the animation was superb. But the underlying problem is you can have all of these good things, and the story itself can ruin it.
Well, I would say the trailer was better than the entire show. That's my problem.
Well, it was a misleading trailer, was it not?
That was the show I wanted. I didn't.
You know what? Now, let me caveat this, folks. We should not bitch about misleading movie trailers or TV show trailers because I remember comic book covers.
Batman's dead again. Robin killed him.
Yeah,
killed him.
No, not you.
Yeah.
But yeah, comic book covers.
This is the end of the Spider-Man.
Never happened in it.
Do you know what pissed me off though in the first episode of that Kevin Smith one? Overall, I enjoyed the story and the world, and I didn't hate it. I thought it was all right. The thing that did really piss me off wasn't the bait and switch about it's Tila and all this, but the way they did it in that first episode. She's just a C word in that first episode, man. I'm like, okay, you're part of this royal guard and this family. You're honor bound by like a samurai or like a medieval knight to die for these people. It's also your job to do this shit. And one day you crack a hissy fit instead of going down to the pub and having a brew and having a fight or have a whinge with your mates. You quit your fucking job and walk out on the entire thing. And that was just bullshit.
Well, you know,
Imagine doing that at your job. Just go, oh, that's what I'm out of here because I had one bad day. Like, No,
All right,
just weak.
here's another thing. I just a question for the both of you guys. Okay, this goes for Superman, He-Man, whatever. Any character with a secret identity, who's keeping it secret from everyone because he wants to protect them. Why is it that they never understand that? Even Lois Lane left Clark Kent when he admitted he was Superman for a little while, and acted like a bitch. T-Lock
Like,
getting
here's a
all
multiverse
butthurt.
where you died 1,000,000 times, Lois. Be grateful.
I mean, seriously, what is it? What is it about the fact that he's trying to protect your ass by not letting you know he's Superman or He-Man or whatever? Why you lied to me all these years? What else are you hiding from me?
You know, I thought that was better done in Spider-Man, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say when he finally revealed it to Mary Jane, she revealed that she always knew.
He knew it all along. Yeah.
And that she was actually more annoyed with him that he wouldn't trust her with it and kept lying to her.
Yeah.
And that was better explained, I thought, you know.
But it's perfectly understandable that someone with that kind of power, who has those kinds of enemies, wants to protect all of his loved ones and friends and family, separate them from that so that he's not constantly having to save them all the time because the Skeletor or Lex Luthor or whoever is always going after the hero's family to get at the hero.
Here's my rail on Revelation, and I'm going to quit it. But the first rail would be one, it's explained to Tila the whole fate of the universe, not just eternity, but everywhere is involved in this. And she's like, but my hurt feelings about being lied to. You know, that's not Tila in any stretch of the imagination to me. The other
that's what I thought was stupid.
The other problem I had is even the pizza boy can pick up the sword and say, by the power of Grayskull, and become He-Man. Like, to me, what kind of special destiny or freaking power is that? Like, wasn't the sword supposed to be, like, for the right person it would do that? Like, all of a sudden, the Eternian pizza man's like, what's this thing? Oh, by the power of Grayskull. And next thing you know, freaking he's a superhero. It didn't make sense to me. It was never written anybody could just lift that thing and do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did the bread man ever do that? Is that how Wondar came along?
Yeah, he lifted up a Wonder Bread in the air.
It's like bread, milk, the power of Wondar.
Satan's hammer was turned off by Randor threatening to execute Duncan. Yeah, I did not like the way Randor was
that was stupid,
and the way he acted over the revelation of that. He should have been devastated by that, the fact that his son was dead, but then he should have been proud of his son, and and once again realized why that these things were kept secret from him. And the only reason that that Duncan knew about it was by accident. If I'm not mistaken.
It depends on what version of the lore that you followed. I think in the 2002, Duncan is very instrumental in Adam getting the sword and doing all that. So it all just depends on what part of the multiverse you like.
I like that. I like that early Tila, not the Green Goddess one, but the one where she's still like the jungle barbarian one. And they did a cool figure of that.
Like in the mini comics where
with that like Conan style.
She's a warrior goddess, and she kind of rolls around, with her.
She was cool and
charger.
Yeah, and they did a nice classics figure of that one. And I'm hoping they do that one again in Masterverse because that old one is super expensive.
Yeah. Gojitron says Evil Lynn. This was the Dark Phoenix story all over again, in my opinion.
yeah.
Evil Lynn destroyed the entire Eternity and Afterlife, almost the whole universe. Hey, but it's okay because Skeletor was mean to her. Yeah, when a character goes that far and then suddenly it's all okay again after they get well again in the mind, it doesn't work well to me either. And moving on down the line here. All right, I promised.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to stop you from bringing your thought out there, Jones. Or go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, you could sum up that whole show with like Evil Lynn's a bad guy, she's a good guy, she's a bad guy again, she's a good guy again. Oh, who even cares anymore? It's over.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I hate this, but okay. I got so angry that I almost destroyed the entire universe, and only by the skin of your teeth did you stop me. But I'm really, really sorry. So please forgive me. Oh, okay. Everything's okay. All right, moving on. Let's as Monty Python says, now for something completely different. I promised the late great Orson Welles, and we saw a tease of him in the last commercial. And before we do that, we'll do another commercial break real quick while we can gather our thoughts and think about Orson Welles for a moment, and also go see Men About Horses and stuff like that, and get ready for
red, white, and peas.
Yes, absolutely. So here's our second commercial break of the night, folks. We'll be right back.
Look at this stuff. Some cereal. It's supposed to be good for you. Did you try it? I'm not going to try it. You try it. I'm not going to try it. Let's get Mikey. Yeah. He won't eat it. He hates everything. He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
There are 3 kinds of Life cereals to please all kinds of kids. Regular, cinnamon, and raisin Life. Part of your family's nutritious breakfast.
This is Messy Marvin. His room is a mess. His clothes are a mess. The only time he doesn't make a mess is when he makes his chocolate milk. He uses good old-fashioned Hershey syrup in the brand new squeeze bottle. Rich, delicious chocolate flavor that only Hershey can deliver without making a mess.
Delicious.
Marvin?
Good old Hershey syrup in a no-mess bottle.
There's something strange in the neighborhood.
So who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters! Each sold separately.
Have no fear. Becky, Steph, and Spengler are here. So are these ghosts. They've got ectoplasm. We've been goofed. Now what? Stay puft Marshmallow Man. Let's show this pile of dessert who's boss. Activate Neutrona Blaster. We ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Peter Venkman, Ectoplasm, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and other figures each sold separately. Ghostbusters, new from Kenner.
You don't see many wild stallions anymore. No, you don't see many wild stallions anymore. And even if he did run off 3 of your best mares, he's one of the last of a wild and very singular breed. Come to where the flavor is. Come to Marlboro Country.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Live from TV5 Wrestling Action, 11 o'clock Saturday.
Welcome back, folks. Yeah, old Iron Eyes Cody wasn't really a Native American, but Sergeant Slaughter wasn't really a drill sergeant either. So what?
He wasn't. You've shattered my dreams, Bill.
My childhood. Batman wasn't a real bat. No.
Oh, Jesus. You guys are destroying me.
Acme Batman costumes worn by real bats.
That was my favorite Wile E. Coyote moment.
Pretty good. Yeah. All right. The first thing I need to do is I need to talk about what we're going to be watching. The first thing we're going to watch. Orson Welles is very famous for doing these Paul Masson commercials. And if you don't know what Paul Masson is a maker of fine wines. Not
Enjoyed
necessarily.
a few of those.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the reason that Orson was hired to do these commercials for Paul Masson was because Paul Masson was like the bottom shelf wine the winos were buying at the wine store. The kids were getting the bum outside to go in and buy for them so they could go get drunk. It wasn't highbrow wine, and Paul Masson was trying to change their image, and they thought by getting Orson Welles to do these commercials, it would bring things up a little bit. And of course, we have the catchphrase, Paul Masson will make no wine before it's time. But yeah, Orson was notoriously hard to work with, for one thing, and for another, part of his agreement with them was that before he would film these commercials, and they would go to various locations in Los Angeles to film them. Sometimes they're at the winery. They would do them at various mansions and stuff like that. Well, he had them. It was in his contract. You will feed me a generous lunch and provide me with all the wine that I choose to drink before I do the commercial. Well, this can sometimes lead to disastrous results.
Turn camera.
Mark.
102, take one.
With overlap, action please. Action Orson, please.
You just do anything?
No, sorry, cut. You're rolling.
102, take two.
The French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There is a California champagne by Paul Masson, inspired by that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle, and like the best French champagne, it's vintage dated. So Paul Masson.
102, take three.
Action, please. The French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There is a California champagne by Paul Masson, inspired by that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle, and like the best French champagne, it's vintage dated. So Paul Masson.
Yes,
voice was weird of that while he was talking.
He's wasted. Well, he was wasted. He was totally drunk off of his ass. He could barely
the whole tone was like weird.
My Lunches with Orson is a good read. Yeah. Orson Welles, he was a fine connoisseur of food. Yeah, he was drunk as hell.
Yeah, that book, I read that this year, and I gave it to a friend who's also about 20 years older than me, who's watched virtually everything Orson's been in. It's really frank conversations, no bullshit, real behind the scenes locker room kind of talk. It's great.
And the next bit I'm going to show you is known colloquially as frozen peas, sometimes known as In July or Yes Always. We've all seen this, but it's worth watching again. And the version I have here is an extra from a documentary feature called Shut Up Little Man, an audio misadventure. And it was done by Closer Productions. And they had a fellow come in and do this, and he had already released this into the wild interwebs, but he kind of put a little extra onto it, and I have it all here. And if I'm going to get a strike tonight, this is going to be the one that strikes me. But you know, I persevere for your entertainment. But this is the frozen peas bit, but it's animated and it's hilarious. Here we go.
We know a remote farm in Lincolnshire where Mrs. Buckley lives. Every July, peas grow there. Do you really mean that?
Yeah, so in other words, I'd start half a second late.
Don't you think you really want to say July over the snow? Isn't that the fun of it?
If you can make it almost when that shot disappears, it'll make my...
I think it's so nice that you see a snow-covered field and say every July peas grow there. We know a remote farm in Lincolnshire where Mrs. Buckley lives. Every July, peas grow there. We aren't even in the fields, you see.
Yeah, we aren't.
We're talking about them growing, and she's picked them.
Yeah.
On what?
On July.
I don't understand you, then. What must be over for July?
When we get out of that snowy field.
When I was out, we were onto a can of peas, a big dish of peas when I said in July.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, always. I'm always past that.
You are?
Yes. Well, that's about where I say in July.
Can you emphasize a bit in July?
Why? That doesn't make any sense. Sorry. There's no known way of saying an English sentence in which you begin a sentence with in and emphasize it. Get me a jury and show me how you can say in July, and I'll go down on you. That's just idiotic, if you'll forgive me by saying so. That's just stupid. In July. I'd love to know how you emphasize in July. Impossible. Meaningless.
I think all they were thinking about was that they didn't want to...
He isn't thinking.
Wilson, can we just do one last...
Yeah?
And it was my fault. I said in July. If you can leave every July...
You didn't say it. He said it.
It's every July.
Your friend. Every July?
So after this show...
No, you don't really mean every July.
It is.
But that's bad copy. It's in July. Of course it's every July. Too much directing around here. Norway. Fish fingers, Findus, Norway. We know a certain fjord in Norway, near where the cod gather in great shoals. There, Jan Stangeland. Shit.
A fraction more on that shoals thing, because you roll it around very nicely.
Yeah, roll it around, and I have no more time. You don't know what I'm up against. Because it's full of things that are only correct because they're grammatical, but they're tough on the ear. You see, this is a very wearying one. It's unpleasant to read. Unrewarding. Because Findus freeze the cod at sea and then add a crumb crisp coating. That's tough, crumb crisp coating. I think, no, because of the way it's written, you need to break it up, because it's not as conversationally written. What?
Take crumb out.
Take crumb out. Good. Here under protest is beef burgers. We know a little place in the American far west where Charlie Briggs chops up the finest prairie-fed beef and tastes... This is a lot of shit, you know that. You want one more?
Yeah,
more on what, beef?
You missed the first beef, actually, completely.
What do you mean, missed it?
You're emphasizing prairie-fed.
But you can't emphasize beef. That's like his wanting me to emphasize in before July. Come on, fellas, you're losing your heads. I wouldn't direct any living actor like this in Shakespeare. Well, you do this. It's impossible.
Orson, you did 6 last year, and by far and away the best, and I know the reason.
The right reading for this is the one I'm giving it.
At the moment.
I spent 20 times more for you people than any other commercial I've ever made. You are such pests. Now, what is it you want?
No, I think...
In your depths of your ignorance, what is it you want? Whatever it is you want, I can't deliver because I just don't see it.
That was absolutely fine. It really was.
It isn't worth it. No money is worth it.
Nothing is more important than the simple act of people getting together.
Could I have one more go, Orson, please? Sorry.
What?
Could I have just one more take of that?
Why? I just did it right.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not used to having more than one person in there. One more word out of you and you go. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
I take directions from one person under protest. But from 2, I don't sit still. But who the hell are you, anyway?
No, I'm the engineer.
Well, why the hell are you asking me for another one?
Well, I thought there was a slight bonk, and I would just like to be safe.
Jesus. What is a gonk? Do you mind telling me what that is?
No, a bang from outside.
A bang from outside.
I love those so much. I've listened to them many times. I just piss myself every time.
What is
I
it?
agree with him. It's written poorly.
It's hard to listen to without the end. And he was just fed up. But if you want to read more about the frozen peas bit, I suggest the Wikipedia article on that. There's a fellow by the name of Jonathan Lynn who acted in Wells' film The Merchant of Venice in 1960 and 1970 and recalled being told about the recording session by Wells. And I'm going to quote this. It's funny as hell. One night, Wells told us about the voiceover for the Findus Frozen Peas. Quote, an agency called and asked me to do a voiceover, and I said I would. And then they said, would I please come in and audition? Audition, I said. Surely to God there's someone in your little agency who knows what my voice sounds like. Well, they said they knew my voice, but it was for the client. So I went in. I wanted the money. I was trying to finish Chimes at midnight. I auditioned, and they offered me the part. And they asked me to go to some little basement studio in Waldorf Street and record it. I demanded payment in advance. After I'd gotten the check, I told them I can't come to Waldorf Street next week. I'll have to be in Paris. And I told them to bring their little tape recorder and meet me at the Georges Schink Hotel next Wednesday at 11 a.m. So they flew over to Paris and came to the hotel at 11 and were told that I had checked out the day before. He chortled happily. I left them a message telling them to call me at the Gritti Palace in Venice. They did, and I told them to meet me there on Friday. And when they got there, I was gone. They found a message telling them to come to Vienna. Now he was laughing uproariously. I made them chase me all around Europe with their shitty little tape recorder for 10 days. They were sorry they made me audition.
Should have listened to One of the Worlds. He's been on the radio.
That is great.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a legend feeling snubbed. Like, are you your little peas, really? Like,
and for the context of people that don't know his like films or career, his career was in the toilet at that point. No one would finance his films, and he couldn't get anything, so he had to take what he could to make a buck.
Yeah. Hence Unicron. But yeah,
he was in the Muppet movie too. I don't know a lot of you know that. At the end of the Muppet movie, he's Mr. Hollywood or whatever that gives him the chance to be rich and famous.
You know, when I was researching the commercials to do, I focused on the Dark Tower one for obvious reasons. But there's also a Vivitar camera commercial. You've got to see these just shitty commercials for shitty people, for shitty products. And he would sit there and just, you could tell he didn't give two shits about whatever it was he was plugging. It was the fact that it was Orson Welles plugging it is all that mattered.
It's like if you're Canon Films and like, can we get the guy that was in Rocky to be in one of our films? It'll still be kind of garbage. So,
absolutely. All right, we've reached the point to where we're going to find out how we can improve our personality. And I think that this would be very, very, very good for people like Rolo, for instance, to pay attention to this, because maybe we can, come up with a better personality for ourselves. Now, the focus of this seems to be on improving our personality so that we can manipulate others and get what we want.
Yeah.
See if you get this out of this as like I did, and I want us to all sit down here at the bottom and lampoon the shit out of this. So that's what we're going to do. And yes, he did have a cameo appearance in Magnum P.I. Susudio. Here we go, folks. Let's improve our personality. Is this coming through?
Not
I need
very
to wait
well.
just a second.
It was glitchy
Not
then, but
very
I think it's
well.
coming good. Should come good again.
Now
Good.
let me wait just a second here and see if I can get the. Here we go. I'm clearing up now as I'm closing down a few windows here in the background. All right,
Yeah,
here we
keep
go.
those
Let this
breezes
back
out.
up again.
We often talk about personality. What do we mean?
Boy, has she got personality.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't give him a job. He can do the work all right, but his personality wouldn't fit in here.
I don't know. I don't like her personality. Do you?
What do we mean when we talk about personality? What is your personality? It is the way you get along with other people around you and with your changing environment. You want certain things from other people and from environment. The way to go about getting those things reveals your personality. For example, do you ever want to go one when the gang wanted to go somewhere else? What did you do? How pleasant was your personality? Did you ever want to make a good impression? What did you do? How effective was your personality? Did you ever feel alone, out of place? You wanted very much to be part of the group. What did you do? How successful was your personality? Let's see how personality works. Bill Woodruff here has something on his mind. He wants something. In fact, Bill has his heart set on something. How he goes about getting it
What could he
and the kind of success he has will reveal his personality. Let's.
They want a better lawnmower?
Shout, I'm right here.
You might have to have the car.
I think it's more like a chick.
There. But, Mom, I have to have the car for tonight. Where are the keys?
Nobody wants the car.
Take one end of this cloth, Bill.
But, Mom, the car.
Why are the moms and dads always ancient crones or something like that?
Now, I better say no.
But, Mom, you can't.
It's so warm, Bill. Your father and I may want to go for a drive this evening.
Bill isn't doing so well, is he? What went wrong?
No, he's not.
Let's see. Your personality is the way you affect other people. Think about that. The way you affect other people. Can Bill do better? Can he have a better effect on
Let's
his
try
mother?
that again, Bill.
Let's see how Bill changes his personality.
Let me help her.
Right?
How'd you like to go to the movies tonight, Mom? It's cool there. I could drive you and Dad to the show before I go. You know, Mom, this is a big deal tonight, the summer formal. My first. Other times a car isn't so important, but for a formal, I'll get some glasses.
I think you might use the car tonight. Bless your feelings. But I'll try to see that he doesn't.
Oh, thanks, Mom. You're swell.
Yes, part of your personality is the way you affect other people. Did you see how much more pleasing Bill's personality was? Did you see how to improve your personality? Well, let's go to
How to
another
not
house
be an
in
asshole.
town and see what else we can learn about it. Marie wants something. She wants a pleasant evening at the formal tonight with Bill Woodruff. But right now, she wants something else.
Barney, do you have my scissors?
Here they are, sister. Don't get... Well, what's this? That's real man.
Give me those scissors.
Okay. Who's the sucker?
I'm going with William Woodruff, if you want to know.
Woody Woodruff, my hero. And he loves you so much. Ah, love, love, love. Marie, darling, this is bigger than both of us. Let us fly away, my sweet.
I want to kill my brother.
Yes, another part of personality is the way other people affect you. If other people have that effect on you, it's time to do something about your personality. What can Marie do? How can she improve Barney's effect on herself? She tried thinking about Barney. What was he after? What did he want? He probably wanted Marie to be angry, to feel hurt. He feels a bit hurt. He can't go to the formal. Perhaps Marie should include him more. Give him some attention.
Okay, I guess.
Won't be many years before you're going to a formal. Bet you'd like to go tonight.
Night.
I'll tell you about it tomorrow.
Who says I'm interested?
Nobody, but I'll tell you anyway.
Oh, well. Well, let me see you when you're all dressed up, will you, sis?
Guy.
See the difference? Marie concentrated on her brother instead of on herself, and the result was a better personality. You see the way to improve your personality? To improve the way you affect other people?
See how to better manipulate people by being nice to them or pretending to.
By concentrating on his mother,
Right.
Bill improved.
I
his
love
effect
this
on her.
video.
By concentrating on Barney, Marie overcame her anger. Barney was now.
I think I
having a
needed to
better
watch
effect on
this
her.
before last week's work.
So, to
Because my
improve your
personality
personality,
affected people, but it wasn't in a good way.
on the other person. Find out how to satisfy the other person's motives. But let's go on to another important part of your personality. How does a changing environment affect you? Does your personality keep pace with new circumstances, new situations?
You know, high-functioning sociopaths know how to do all of this shit.
The summer formal. When you haven't been to an affair like this before, you feel pretty strange. You might even feel uncomfortable. No matter how well you get along with the other person, you still have to meet the challenge of a new environment.
Here we are.
Yeah. Are we early? There was hardly anyone upstairs taking their coats off.
Well,
What can you do? Can you improve your personality in a case like this? Will it help to concentrate on another person?
Look, Woody. That fellow over there, he's really lost.
yeah. Come, let's get acquainted. Hello. Hello. This is Marie Follett, and I'm William Woodruff. We thought we might as well get acquainted.
Oh, glad you did. Oh, my name's Bill Ross. I don't know anyone around here.
Well, you know someone now. Where's your date?
Oh, Betty. Oh, here she is now. Betty, this is...
I'm Marie, and this is Woody.
How do you do? Isn't this a lovely...
Yes. It's better when you person. Can you?
I'm waiting for things to clear up a little bit here. It's almost to the end anyway. Toot toot.
You do it? Remember, part of your personality is the way you affect other people. Another part is the way other people affect you. And still another is the way changes in your environment affect you. If you concentrate on the other person, you can get along better. You can make a start toward improving your personality. This is only the story of your personality, but it's the beginning. And now,
Hey, look, there's Howard and his date.
We better go over and dance. Now, will you excuse us, please?
We'll be seeing you out on the...
Good night.
That's all. Yes, friends of mine. I've known them for all of 2 minutes. But you know, they have something. They're able to make you feel like old friends so quickly. It's more than just politeness or friendliness.
I'd say they both had wonderful personalities. Wouldn't you?
All right, that's enough.
Tremendous.
So, what we've learned here today, folks, that all of us suffering from sociopathy and psychopathy probably need to understand that in order to manipulate others, we have to pretend that that we like them, and that will help us in order to manipulate these people to do the things that we want them to do, so we can get what we want. And that's what I got out of this. I don't know about you guys.
I'd enjoy the video. You want to go, Joneser? I'll talk after you.
You know, it kind of, look, Bill and I had shared earlier that he had a rough week at work, and I had a very similar week at work with some machines not working right, and I had to use my personality with some of the office people or some of my employers or people that I'm supposed to answer to, that I'm supposed to be polite to, and unfortunately they got a little real. And what was funny is I'm not going to get into details or anything, but there was an individual who didn't like the way something happened, and I basically told him I don't give a fuck. Pardon my French. You know, and I continued to tell him how very little I cared about what he thought or what his position was, and I began to even belittle him a little. And unfortunately, I was not in my best personality, and I went home and I shared the details of this with my wife because I was animated. I was pissed off, if I'm being honest here. And my wife said, "It's funny that I said that because I'm 43 years old." Okay. She was reading this study where what age do men get when they just don't give a fuck anymore and they're going to say how they feel? 43. And she was like, "You've just finally reached the age where you're sick of pretending, you're sick of being fake, you're just going to call it like you see it. If it's not pretty, hey, there's the elephant in the room and it's on fire."
Pretty much. I mean, it's one of the reasons why you always see old people bitching and moaning and complaining to management in stores. They're just tired.
Yeah.
And now I have come to the conclusion early in my life, and I'm still that way. If you serve me some shitty food in the restaurant, I'm just not going to eat it, and I'm going to pay for it, and I'm going to leave and never come back. I'm not going to send it back to the kitchen and have them remake it for me, because the additional things that they may add to that may not be very well for my health. So I'm not going to do that.
Well, there's a way to do that without being nasty too. Like, I'll tell you one thing that's a pet peeve for me is hot French fries. Now, when you go through a drive-through, French fries take like 2.5 minutes to make. Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't have hot French fries. So then they give you French fries, and you can tell they've been in the freaking warmer for a half hour, and they're nasty. And I will pull the car around, park, and I will be that guy to walk in and go, "Look, my fries are bad. Can I get some hot fries, please? Thank you." You know, and
they always fuck you in the drive-thru. They fuck you when you go through the drive-thru. "I'm not eating this fish. Shut up."
Exactly. So that is one pet peeve of mine. And you shouldn't have to say that. Like, "Can I get fresh fries?" Like, fries take 2 minutes. Like, I started in fast food.
All right, Joneser, I'm going to give you the workaround for that. Okay. This works at McDonald's. I don't know if it works at the other places, but I know it works at McDonald's. If you want fresh, straight out of the fryer fries at McDonald's, you ask for them no salt. I want my fries with no salt. They have to go and dunk a fresh load of fries just for your ass when you do that.
And then I asked for 6 salt packets on the way out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's about what it feels like is in them.
Yeah. Well. So we've learned some things tonight. We've learned how to be more higher functioning in our sociopathy, and how to get the things that we want. I know that I've always considered myself a high functioning sociopath, sort of like Sherlock Holmes. And the ability to mimic human emotions, especially when dealing with others, is a must. So I think that was what the purpose of this video was for, and I hope that it enlightened us.
It spoke to me. I feel like it's changed my personality for the better. Before the video, I was like this, but after the video, I was like that.
There you go. Yeah,
you've learned.
Yeah. Let's see. Susudio says, have you ever noticed that McDonald's has their fryer and French fries right next to the drive-through window? I've always asked for my fries with no salt. She learned that trick a long time ago. These little workarounds. I saw that chick melt down because the egg slid off the salmon. I watched a video earlier this week over at Cody's channel, Camelot 331, where Karen was in Walmart fucking with another customer and finally got her ass down. If you haven't seen that, it's worth watching.
I've seen the one in Target where the lady chased the manager all the way into his office and he punched her out. He did. This chick charged at him. He went into his office to get away from her, and she came in through the door. And as soon as she came in into his domain, she caught a right cross right to the face.
And I don't think anybody should get in trouble for defending themselves like that, especially when you're dealing with somebody that's trying to harm you.
Yeah,
but I bet he got fired. I bet you anything he got fired. No, you're just supposed to sit there and let her.
On camera. I'm sure there's
going to be sit there and die and do your job.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's my thing. I'm Generation X. That's the original fuck around and find out. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know,
if you've never seen it, there's a line graph on that. You know, the fuck around and find out.
Right. Yep. How much you want to fuck around? How much you're going to find out?
That's a 45-degree angle. I can guarantee you. It tends to go up further. You know, it takes this upward turn towards the top there. Yeah. All right. I think we've kind of reached the end of what I have to offer. We've had a big discussion tonight. We've covered a gamut of issues. If we want to cover any of those again, but I think we've covered them about all. Sue Studio says, if you want a fresh quarter pounder, ask for it with no salt. Otherwise, it's so salty you can't taste the beef. I haven't experienced that, but I don't know if they're still doing it at McDonald's. But there at one point, the quarter pounders were cooked fresh every time you ordered them, instead of being taken out of those little drawers or whatever that they put the shit in. And when they started cooking quarter pounders to order, the quality of them greatly increased. The only problem I have with McDonald's meat is the same problem I've always had with Wendy's. It's always too greasy. I'm kind of partial to Sonic nowadays.
See, I started, like most of us, my first job was fast food. I started at Arby's, and then I moved on to Carl's Jr., which basically a West Coast version of Hardee's. So, like, I don't ask anybody to do anything that I don't know anything about. Like, when we did Arby's, there was the famous 5 for $5 roast beef sandwiches. Now, we were in city of San Diego to drive through, so we were selling those like nobody's business. Like, I would have a second line cook, and all his job would be make roast beef sandwiches nonstop until I tell you to quit. And he'd never keep enough of them in the thing, so they were always fresh because they were never not being made. You know, so it's like I know exactly. Like, it's like when you're sitting through a Dairy Queen drive-through and you've been there 10 minutes for your chicken sandwich. It's like, are you kidding me? It's 5 minutes, 4.5 minutes through a fryer to make that. Like 30 seconds to slap the tomato and the too much mayonnaise on it and throw it at me.
It's like, always too much mayonnaise. I don't know what it is about the mayonnaise, but it's like they go.
Yeah. Yeah. Put too much mayonnaise, yesterday's bacon, and a freaking brown lettuce leaf on it, and bicycle wheel tomato, and throw it at me.
They say don't eat the chili at Wendy's because the Wendy's, the meat in the chili is made with the old hamburger meat that's left over from days before.
I know the barbecue was that for the old roast. We would carve up what was left of the roast that didn't sell that night, and we would make the barbecue out of that.
Have you seen what's been going on lately at Taco Bell? The latest accusations. This doesn't surprise me. Now, we know that here a few years ago, we found out that Taco Bell was enriching their meat with cellulite, which is just chopped up wood chips. And now we find out that that after the meat has spoiled, they continue to cook it and serve it to you.
Ugh.
So
No,
now we know why you get the diarrhea and the monstrous stomach ache after eating at Taco Bell. I don't think I'm going to eat there ever again.
And see, even as a kid, I was the lead in the back. I was the closer. So, like, I was always the one, like, no, don't serve that. Throw that out. Switch those out. Move, get some fresh stuff in there. What are you doing? Wash that thing. You know, I was always quality control, you know, at least as good as you could. And I think that's why later when I moved past fast food and I went into food in a production setting, I ended up packing manager where I'm at because you always safe, quality, good food. And the golden rule is always if you wouldn't eat it yourself, don't serve it to the customer. That's
I agree with that.
You know,
but we got food safety status for a reason.
Right. I don't want to kill nobody. I don't want to get
Ocean
nobody.
Breed Salty and Johnny Sorensen were talking about how the food is poisonous, and Johnny's like, but it's delicious poison.
I like real burgers. McDonald's is garbage. It is garbage.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree too. McDonald's has gone way downhill from back in the day. You know, they actually used to get fresh ground beef at McDonald's and fix it. And then when Ray Kroc took over, it became the little frozen discs that would clatter when it went onto the fryer. Taco Bell is only good when you're constipated. Well, the problem is the diarrhea that you get is also bloody diarrhea because it's horrible. I often wonder why you end up getting Montezuma's revenge when you go to Taco Bell. But if you watch the latest videos that came out of the what was going on, you can see the ruined and spoiled meat. An employee actually put up a TikTok, which I don't get TikTok, but a TikTok video showing the discolored, spoiled packages of meat that they were told by their manager that they just serve it anyway, just scrape the discolored parts off of it and do it anyway, and that this person got fired for the TikTok video. They were threatened by Taco Bell lawyers to take the TikTok video down. And as far as I know, it's still up. I don't know what's going to happen after that, but I think all of it is absolutely true. And then it goes to the upper echelon of management. They're thinking, well, we can't waste all this meat, so we'll just serve it to the customer anyway. They'll never know.
Mm-hmm.
Five Guys. I've eaten there before. Five Guys is pretty good. Kind of a little expensive for me, but it's good.
I like it.
What do I have to say here, Johnny? That little dog ate it all. Yo quiero Taco Bell. My favorite hamburgers were from Fuddruckers. Is that place still around?
I don't know. I know they had them in California when I lived there. Or
I've
Red
heard
Robin.
of it, but I've never actually. Red Robin, I've heard of that, and I've never eaten there. It's kind of like a Denny's, isn't it?
No, it was kind of. I thought it was the same idea as a Fuddruckers, just a different name. You know, basically a burger bar. You get your burger on a plain bun, and then you go through the bar, and you put bacon or mushrooms or cheese or lead or whatever you want on it.
Okay, well that sounds like an interesting idea. Therefore, you can
they
put what
give it to you
want
plain,
on it.
and then you just go down the little buffet line and fix it up.
That sounds like a cool idea. I've never had a burger served to me that way in a restaurant.
Yeah, that, to me, once you've had it that way, it's hard to go back. You know.
All right, folks. Tell you what, when the show's over and the comment section opens up down there at the bottom below where you already have clicked the like button, put some comments in there. What's your favorite fast food restaurant and what's the worst fast food restaurant? Will you ever eat at Taco Bell again after these revelations? I would love to find out, and I will like and heart every one of your comments, and I will answer back occasionally when you comment there, as Johnny Sorensen very well knows, because he is one of my most prolific commenters. Thank you so much.
I'm caught out. I've got to go.
See, Red Robin is excellent. They put the fixings on the burgers. Red Robin has unlimited fries. You're welcome, Rolo. Thank you all for being here. If you guys have any further comments, please let us know quickly there, Joneser, and Johnny Sorensen. We'll start with you, Joneser, as we get ready to end this farce.
Thanks for having me.
I'm just gonna yeah, same. Thanks for having me. I'm gonna show off my buzz offs. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Minions. I got extra ones to go with my other guy. I'm gonna put the goggle things on the other guys and
show off your stuff there, Johnny, real quick. There you go.
Hang on. He's over here. Wait. He's hanging out there at the moment.
Oh, right. Look at him. Cool.
That is cool.
That's good.
Neat. Very neat display there, Johnny. I like it.
There. And we go up here. Look out.
All right. Cool beans, man. Nice. I like all of that. Okay, guys. Joneser, you got anything further to add?
That was it. Thanks for having me.
What's going on your channel there, Joneser? You got anything coming up next week?
Yeah, I got a big box in from Big Bad Toy Store of all my Masterverse stuff that I had on order. So I got the Grizzlor, the Merman that has the arm. I got the Buzz Off and what was the other one? Faker, the blue skin Faker.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I got a snake horde guy or something too that I forgot I ordered. So an Origins one in there too. So I'll be opening that up, and I've got a bazillion other Origins and Ninja Turtles and Superpowers and comics, and I'm buried in this stuff. I could do videos indefinitely until 2030.
I just opened my email box there, OBS, and I have not gotten an email from you, but that doesn't mean that it's not on its way. Sometimes it gets kind of wonky. But I could tell you some Andre stories. He did some pretty rotten shit to other people, even in the ring.
But yeah, we should do a show on that sometimes. I have a few myself.
Sounds like a plan. We may try to do that next week in our wrestling section on late night. Well, okay. Thank you two for being here. Thank you, Johnny, for taking Sir Clifton's place, since he decided that maybe he went to bed again and didn't get up or whatever. But anyway, yeah, we'll see you all next time, and good journey, everyone. And we'll see you on the flip side. Special thanks to the channel supporters. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like, subscribe, and share the video.